Dear friends, today's webinar is not just an event, it is a platform where ideas will be shared, insights will be gained, and at the same time, being an introductory seminar for Team DTBA, it adds up its value for us. I must add that it gives us immense pleasure to see a diverse and esteemed gathering here virtually, united by a common pursuit of knowledge and collaboration. Here I can see some renowned faces, and I welcome all the seniors here, be it Shri Subhash Jain ji, Shri Ashish Agarwal ji, past president, Shri Rakesh Grover ji, Dinesh Sharma ji, CA Jasminder ji, all my fellow members, DTBA members, ITCA members, and TBA members. I must admit that much more faces are here who deserve to be named. But as a new one to this, I tender my apology if any such name left, sir. Now, I may praise you present that today's webinar is being held under the presidency of our newly elected President, Sir C.A. Shri Sanjeev Gupta ji, and convener for the webinar will be C.A. Shri Arun Gupta ji. President, sir, will introduce the whole team of study circle and team DTBA a little later. Here, at today's webinar, we have our distinguished speaker, C.A. Shri Avinash Gupta ji, past chairman of NRRC, with us to deliberate the intricacies of the hottest topic of the day, that is payment to MSc, vis-a-vis section 43BH of the Income Tax Act 1961, along with some practical issues relating to filing of Form 15CA and 15CB, which is needed in relation to foreign remittance. Sir, as to formal schedule of the webinar, I may advise that, as said by Mr. Speaker, sir, that he will like to take the queries one by one during the deliberation itself. For that purpose, CA Shri Arun Gupta ji and CA Shri Pushkal Soni ji, that will take the query session by being a volunteer to Speaker, sir. Now, before proceeding further on the webinar, I will request to my president, Mr. President, Sir CA Shri Sanjeev Gupta ji, for welcome address and to introduce the team and to share his vision. To Mr. President, sir, please.
Thanks, Deepak. Thanks for your kind word. I must acknowledge the presence of my senior colleagues and luminaries of the profession. Before I start, Kambod sahab dikh rahe hai, Jasminder ji dikh rahe hai mainu, Voda sahab dikh rahe ne, Sumir ji ka to dikh rahe ne, Grover ji dikh rahe ne. So, friends, it is an honor to address you as a newly elected president of our Ski Association DTBA for the year 2024. I would like to express my sincere gratitude for the trust you people have imposed upon me to lead the organization. Thanks a lot. Friends, I look forward to working closely with each of you in the coming months, and I seek members' suggestions, feedback, and request them to come up with the issues they are facing with the department. Me and my team will try to address them. I assure you all my full cooperation and 24/7 availability for addressing your issues and grievances with the Income Tax Department to the best of our ability. As your president, I am committed to working towards the growth and development of our association DTBA. We will continue to organize meaningful events, seminars, workshops that provides opportunities for professional development, networking, and knowledge sharing. I request each of you to actively participate in these initiatives, contribute your ideas, and engage in meaningful discussions. In this direction, today we are organizing a webinar on practical issues related to 15 CA and CB and discussion on section 43BH, a very relevant topic. Friends, we are getting queries on daily basis from our clients on this particular topic. And I'm extremely thankful to CA Avinash Gupta ji, past chairman of NIRC, for giving his consent to deliberate on this hot topic. And I look forward to very fruitful discussion and deliberations. before I end, I would like to introduce my team with you. Here I would like to present before you CM Mohit Gupta, a very energetic and helping as our Vice President. CM Mohit Gupta. CA Deepak Jain, as you know, is our dynamic secretary. I'm present before you, CA Deepak Jain. Then we have CA Shilpi Sharma Sethi as an energetic and eager to take responsibility as our joint secretary, CA Shilpi Jain. Then we have dynamic CA Anshul Sood, CA Gary Jain, and CS Ratan Lal as executive member, who all are always ready to take responsibilities towards the cause of the DTBA. Sir, without the knowledge sharing, no organization can really grow. And our study circle committee is being headed by a dynamic and energetic leader, CA Arun Gupta, with ever charming CA Pushkar Soni as the co-convener, and ably assisted by CA Shilpi Sharma Sethi and CA Anshul Sood as the member of the study circle committee. I welcome all of them. Then we have already also formed a new committee, that is a newsletter committee, to bring monthly newsletter under the guidance of seasoned CA Sarvjit Garg as a convener and CA Megha Kalra as co-convener, with CA Gary Jain, CS Ratan Lal, and CA Abhinav Gupta as member of the team. I am quite sure that this season team is going to bring all the 12 newsletter editions during the year. And with this, I hand over the proceeding to CA Deepak Jain. Thanks, Lord Frank. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I must name one name which I left before Shri Kamboj and other senior members. Welcome, sir. Friends, although the name of our esteemed speaker, CA Shri Avinash Gupta ji, does not require any formal introduction, but I may request CA Pushkar Soni ji for formally introducing our guest speaker, Sir Shri Avinash Gupta ji, to all of us. Pushkar Soni ji, please.
Thank you, Deepji. It will be great honor for me to introduce our worthy speaker, CA Avinash Gupta ji, on today's seminar on very hot and important topic, practical issues relating to 15 CACB and discussion on section 43BH. CA Avinash Gupta ji is fellow member of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. He did his graduation from Shri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi University, and awarded the best student of the college. He is also in the merit list of ICI in CA final. He is also law graduate and completed LLM in international taxation from Vienna University, Austria, Europe. He has authored 3 books on international taxation, transfer pricing, and UAE corporate tax. He is also pursuing PhD in law on subject of taxation of digital transactions. He is also regular faculty on UAE corporate tax and transfer pricing at ICI and various chapters. He was the chairman of NIRC of ICI for the year 21-22. He is also secretary of SRCC Alumni Association. He is nominated as co-opted member of International Taxation Committee of ICI for the year 22-23. He is also president of Tax Research Foundation, an NGO doing research in field of taxation. He is the national treasurer of International Physical Association India branch. He is partner in APT and company LLP Chartered Accountant, having head office at Delhi and 18 branches all over India. APT also has a branch office in Dubai, catering the client of entire GCC region. He has delivered more than 3,000 lectures at national and international level. He is visiting faculty member at National Academy of Direct Tax Nagpur and other regional campuses, Shri Ram College of Commerce, ICI, ICSI, ICWI, and Management Institutes. He is also faculty member of certification course on international taxation for CS. He was special invitee on Direct Tax Committee of ICI and International Tax Committee of ICI. He has experience handling various international taxation, including transfer pricing matter on big corporate. He worked as finance analyst in PNG. He has won many laureate during school, college, and CA student life. He presented many papers in international, national, and regional conference on various topics of taxes. He is a good orator and held many responsible positions. सर की इंट्रोडक्शन देख कर लगता है ये तो नेशनली इंटरनेशनल लेवल के स्पीकर हैं तो मैं आई वेलकम सर एंड नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट आवर वर्दी स्पीकर सीए विनाश गुप्ता जी टू स्टार्ट हिज डेलिब्रेशन
Thank you. Thank you, Soni ji, for this nice introduction. Respected President of the DTBA, Sanjeev Gupta ji, the Secretary of the DTBA, Deepak Jain ji, other office bearers of the DTBA, my very good friend and convener of study circle, Arun Gupta ji, co-convener Pushkar Soni ji, my regional council colleague and vice chairman of the NIRC, Dinesh Sharma ji, all seniors, Subhash Jain ji, Kamboj ji, and many people I know personally. And DTBA is, I think, one organization in Ludhiana, which I keep coming and interacting with you all, and it is just feeling like home when I come through DTBA. And to the big surprise, I visited DTBA more than the Ludhiana branch of ICAI. So that's why it is like our own organization. So thank you DTBA again for calling me today. Now, today, as we all know that it was scheduled for budget changes, but as we know that is a vote on account and no changes are required to be done by the government, we are expecting that only. But still, there is one important change what have been brought in the finance bill, which I feel that I will start from this and then I'll move to 43BH, which is another hot topic, and then we'll have our own topic of 15 CACB, because I need to discuss 2-3 things in that also, which is important. And I have handled some practical cases now, and many chartered accountants are in problem because of that. That is what I just want to do it. So, sir, there is only one amendment which has been proposed, which is in favor of department, though it was sugar-coated that it is in favor of the assessees, but it is in favor of department. The amendment was that if there is any demand prior to 2009 and the demand does not exceed 25,000 rupees, then they said that all these demands will be nullified by the department itself. And if the demand pertains on or after 2009, but up to 2014, then if the demand does not exceed 10,000 rupees, then the department is going to nullify those demands. That is the amendment which they have brought. I have real cases where I have the challan. So there is one case of mine where my SSC have paid a tax in 1985. And I have the original challan with me. Now they won in Supreme Court in somewhere around in 2017 or so. And since there, we are struggling to get the refund because they don't have records. There are many other SSCs which we have where before 2009, they have no records to say whether the tax credit is to be given, not given, etc. So that's why there was the demands which are lying prior to 2009, for which majority of the cases department do not have the access, they do not have a data pertaining to that. So that is why in their favor, they have moved this amendment to reduce or nullify the demands. I think it is a welcome step, specifically for those people who have been given demands for who have been raised demand for these small changes. And it is important to see that what will happen to those demands which got adjusted against the refunds which are supposed to be issued. So whether they will take care of the demand pending as on date, or they will nullify all the demands for the past year. I think for this we need to have some date and we need to see what the government will take. So this is the only amendment which is there in the budget or finance bill. Now let us come to another important part which is proposed last year, And I do not know and I don't understand why we all, as a student of law, are creating confusion and all these things in 43B clause H. According to me, the law is very, very clear. It was very clearly worded in the law, and then we just need to interpretation of it. Now let us understand what exactly is this 43B clause H says. So 43B says as a general provision that there are certain amount which have been debited or which have been claimed as an expenditure in the books of accounts during the year are not allowed if the SSC have not actually paid the amount either during the previous year itself or till an extended time of till the due date of filing of return of income is concerned. So for example, there is an expenditure, let's say it is an expenditure, it relates to bonus, it may relate to an employer contribution to PF, ESI, or it may relate to an expenditure, any taxes, etc. So they say that, okay, we will give you the expenditure provided you make an actual payment either within the previous year itself or the actual payment may be made till the time of filing of return of income, which is generally in case of individual, it might be 31st of July or 30th of October or 30th of November, as the case may be. If you do not make payment till that time, then when you make the payment, you will get the deduction. So it is not a disallowance as such, but it is simply the deduction will be allowed only when you make the actual payment. So I hope this concept is there. We are already used to with it. Nothing changes. Now, what they have done is, last year they have amended a Finance Act 2023. They have amended this section and inserted a clause H. Now, in this clause H, they have done two things. What two things they have done? First, they said that any payment made to a party or a person who is covered under section 15 of the MSME Act. So if you are making any payment or a SSC is liable to make a payment which is covered under section 15 of MSME Act, that payment or that expenditure will be allowed subject to the actual payment. Now, what is the actual payment? That we will see. They said that if, as per section 15 of the MSME Act, if the amount is covered in that under that section, then the payment will not be allowed without the actual payment. It will not be allowed on the due basis. Rather, it will be allowed as on the actual payment basis. And then they have inserted a proviso to it. In that proviso, which was earlier saying, if the payment is made up to the due date of return of income, then it will be deemed to be allowed. So here they have created an exception and they said that this extended time period of September or October or July or November, this extended period will not apply to the payment made to this clause H. So there are two different things what we need to understand. So payment will be, the expenditure will be allowed on actual payment, but only those expenditure which are covered under section 15 of the MSME Act. So all other payments which are not covered under MSME Act, so they are not subject to hit by this provision. So first of all, this we need to understand. What are not covered, we will deal with it. This provision will attract only and only when section 15 of MSME Act is applicable. If the payment do not belong to or it is not applicable on that section, then it is not. Second is that if the payment was not made within the previous year, then the extended period of 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 8 months, whatever is the time, like July, October or November, the extended period was not allowed in this case. So that is the two parts what we need to understand in this. Now let me go from income tax to MSME Act. What are the MSME Act? And in MSME, there is a micro enterprise, there is a medium, a small enterprise, and there is a medium enterprise. This provision is applicable only to micro and small. So those who are classified as medium enterprise under the MSME Act, so this 43BH provision is not applicable. So we are not concerned about those who are the medium enterprise. Now, only two enterprise which is left. One is the micro and another is the small. So any enterprise which is micro or small, for which the deduction or expenditure will be allowed on actual payment basis. So that is the crux. Now, under the small or under the micro enterprise, so they have prescribed there may be two kinds of organization. One who is the manufacturing concern, and second they said who is the service concern, providing services. So any enterprise subject to the limit of turnover, subject to the limit of the investment in plant and machinery, they classified this whether it is a micro or small or medium. So we are talking about only micro and small. So any enterprise who is into a manufacturing concern or who is in the business of manufacturing any goods, or concern which is in the business of what we say services. So anybody who is providing services. Only these two types of organizations are classified as a micro or small enterprise, meaning thereby all other enterprises which are not classified as a micro or small, then they are outside the scope of this MSME Act. Example could be trading concern. A purely trading concern who is just buying goods and selling goods. If the trading concern is there, trading concern is neither classified as under the micro, nor it is classified as small, nor it is classified as medium. So all the trading concerns are outside the definition of micro, small or medium enterprise as per MSME Act. That is why when you go and register your enterprise under MSME Act, there was a specific exclusion that trading concerns are not allowed to be registered for MSME because they are not considered as MSME. So when we go step by step, the micro will be or small will be either a manufacturing concern or a service concern who is providing services. So entire payments, whatever we have made, we need to see first whether it is a manufacturing for which I am taking any goods from them, or is it a service concern. Chartered accountant, an advocate, a CA firm, a law firm, a management consultancy firm, courier company, all service sector might be MSME, might not be MSME. Then we go to section 15 of the Act. So the section 15 of the MSME Act says that under this Act, every person who is making or who is required to make the payment should adhere to the payment within the time prescribed under section 15, which is maximum 45 days. If suppose Arunji and me, we enter into a contract whereby I am requiring his services, so I am liable to pay money to him. Suppose he is covered under MSME and Arunji and me, we decided that I have to pay or I have to make the payment within 7 days. So according to section 15 of the MSME Act, the period of credit is maximum 7 days. But if we said, no, 7 days too less, let's make it 30 days, then 30 days. I said, no, sir, 30 days not, let's make it 90 days or 60 days. Then the Act says the maximum credit given is 45 days. So the credit period or the credit should be from the appointed day when the services are being performed or the services are acceptable or goods are being delivered. From that day itself, that whenever is that whatever is the credit period, I need to give the payment within that period, which is mentioned in the contract. If nothing is mentioned or a longer period is mentioned, the maximum period is 45 days. So that is how the law is being created. Suppose Arunji have provided me services in the month of July, and we agreed for a 45 days credit period. Appointed date is, let's say, 1st of August. And okay, on 1st of August, I accepted his services. And from 1st of August, I need to pay him within 45 days. So August, September, October. 15th of October would be the last day. But I didn't pay. And in the month of December, I said, okay, Arun bhai, I want to pay you. He said, okay, you pay me today. I paid it in December, which is beyond 45 days period, but because it is paid within the year, so no disallowance, nothing is required. But what Arunji have a right? So Arunji have a right to claim me the interest for the delayed payment. So that right is being given by section 16 of the MSME Act, but it is optional. He may exercise that right or he may not exercise that right. So tomorrow he may, when I pay him in December, due date was 15th of October, he may ask me, okay, Avinash bhai, you have to pay me the interest also as per section 16 of the MSME Act. If he asks me, I have to pay him because I have no right to say no, because the Act says, as per section 16, whatever the MSME payment has to be made beyond that period, the person is asking for the interest. I am under an obligation to pay that interest, and we already know that whatever interest paid on such payment is also not allowed. That disallowance is already there. If he do not ask this interest from me, then nobody can stop me doing business, or nobody goes to him, Arun bhai, and he said, why you have not asked the interest? It is between the business relationship between me and Arun bhai, that how we will take the business. So MSME Act very clearly says that maximum credit period is 45 days. Now, because of combined reading of this section 15, micro and small enterprises and 43B taken together. Now let us understand it. So Pushkal ji, suppose you are running a trading concern and you trade paper. In my office, I ordered paper from you and you have supplied me paper worth 1 lakh rupees. And the credit period allowed by you to me is 45 days. You supplied paper to me on 1st of January 2024. What is the due date by which I have to make you payment? Is 15th of February, 45 days from 1st January, which is 15th of February. Suppose I make you payment before 15th of February, that matter is over. There is no disallowance, nothing. Within the time period prescribed, I have made the payment to you. Now, if I pay you, let's say on 28th of February, then what right you have against me? I have to pay you, I will pay you. For example, on 20th of February. On 20th of February, it is within the year, no disallowance under 43B. Do you have a right to claim interest from me?
Sir, as a trader, तो नहीं कर सकते.
You have no right because you are a trading concern. And I have already told you, as a trading concern, you are not part of MSME Act itself, meaning thereby whatever payment I am liable to pay to you is not governed by section 15 of the MSME Act itself. So hence, for whether I make you payment on 15th of February or 28th of February or maybe December 24th, that doesn't matter. My expenditure is fully allowed. There is nobody can disallow my expenditure under this act. Because as a trading concern, you are not covered under MSME Act itself, as well as section 15 of the MSME Act is not applicable. Next question, sir. Sir, you are a service concern, and I have taken a service from you, and you have delivered me services on 1st of January 2024 with a credit period of 45 days. Again, my due date is 15th of February. If I make payment up to 15th of February, no problem. I make payment to you on 28th of February. What would be the situation?
So during the year pay हुआ है.
During the year it have been paid, so there is no disallowance. Do you have any claim against me on 28th of February?
So only interest. Only interest under MSME.
You can claim the interest, but you have to be a micro or small or medium enterprise, then only you can claim me. If you are not, then you cannot claim me. Now, the fact of the case is, Mr. Soni is not registered under MSME Act. So he is a person who may not be aware about the act. He may be a person who do not want to register under the act, or he may be a person who do not want to be governed by the act. Forget about claiming interest. So there might be three kind of a situation. Either he is not aware, he is aware but not registered, he is aware, he do not want to claim the benefit, that's why he have not registered it. So if these are three situations, then also section 15 of the MSME Act is not applicable on. So if the person is not registered, person does not know anything. So there are many people who are saying that, okay, if I make a payment to somebody who is a MSME, but I don't know whether he is MSME or not, or the person himself don't know whether he is MSME or not, or the person is not registered under the act, then what would be the situation? The situation is very clear as per section 15 of the MSME Act. The person who want to be governed by the act has to be registered under the act. If he is not registered under the act, then he will not be treated as MSME. So all the payments what you are supposed to make to various vendors who are manufacturers or who are a service industry but not registered under the MSME Act, so they are also out of the scope of this act, meaning thereby their payments are not subject to 43B clause H of the act. So even if you make payment to them on after 45 days, or you do not make payment till the date of filing of return also, still you are not liable to be, or your expenditure is not liable to be disallowed. So perfectly fine, sir, no problem. Just go step by step like this. Now let's come to
सर
last case.
इसी के साथ ना सुमीर गुप्ता जी की क्वेरी है. Some of the traders are registered under MSME Act by showing MSME registration that they are service provider, but actually till date they have
No, sir. One minute. Sir, you know that they are traders. Any person who is illegally registered under the act as service provider does not give them a right to claim the benefits of the act. At the time of registration of the act, this person who is a trader might be shown wrong information, or he have misrepresented the information. So merely by misrepresenting the information, I personally believe that he is not entitled for the act. I give you one more instance. So I run a company who is a manufacturing concern. So let's say I manufacture sweaters because or a hosiery industry, but during this year I do trading also. So for part of the operations I manufacture and sell. For some part of the operation I simply buy and sell. Now somebody have entered into a transaction with me which is purely a trading concern, and he declares to me that he is not manufacturer of this particular item what I have purchased. Simply he have procured from outside and sold it to me by trader. The company have MSME registration. The company is registered under, might be small or micro enterprise, whatever it is, but the activity what they are doing is not the manufacturing activity. And for that particular activity, according to me, under the MSME Act also, he will not get any benefit. He will not be entitled for interest, etc., because it is not a manufacturing activity what he is doing. So if somebody have taken a wrong registration or under a wrong category they have taken a registration, then also in my humble opinion they are not governed by the MSME Act, and the moment they are not governed by MSME Act, then they are not entitled for any benefit. And section 15 of the MSME Act does not attract on their goods or services or whatever they have delivered. Hence 43B clause H is also not applicable on them.
सर अगर बायर को अवेयर ही नहीं है कि वो जो परचेज कर रहा है वो मैन्युफैक्चर्ड है या ट्रेड होके आ रहा है, तो फिर बायर को अवेयर ही नहीं है कि जो परचेज कर रहा है वो मैंने
सर इसके लिए आई थिंक वी ऑल आर स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ लॉ. Ignorance of law is no excuse. So every buyer, after incorporating of this section, which is 1st of April 2023 onwards, every buyer has to do a due diligence. Under that due diligence, he has to ask all his vendors whether they are registered under MSME or not. And if they are registered under MSME, then under what category, whether they are micro, small or medium, and under which category, whether they are manufacturers or they are the service industry. And if a person or if a vendor is registered as a manufacturer and they are micro or small, even if they are doing a trading, it is deemed to be from manufacturing and covered under the payment, unless take a separate declaration that this particular arrangement or transaction is as a trading concern and this is outside the purview of the MSME Act. Then only he will be saved. Otherwise, he will be liable to. Or he proves, send the letter. So there may be some trader who send a MSME certificate to the person and say that I am a service provider under micro or small. Then he should write that I am not taking any services from you. I am simply buying and selling goods from you or buying goods from you. In that case, I don't think that you are covered under MSME. And in our understanding, the benefit of section 15 and 16 of the MSME Act is not provided or not liable for those benefits. Hence, kindly clarify. So let the party clarify and say, no, we are covered. If you are done your due diligence like this, I believe there is no problem at all for this particular provision is concerned.
सर सीए नरेश बत्रा जी की क्वेरी है, which amount will be disallowed? Purchase value और invoice value including GST.
सर जीएसटी तो सर आपको वैसे ही डिसअलाउ हो जाता है क्योंकि वो जीएसटी यू विल टेक अ क्रेडिट. Obviously, any amount which is debited to P&L account. So if you have an invoice of 100 plus 18 and you are liable to take a credit of 18, then only 100 is debited, hence 100 is disallowed. But if your output is exempt and your expense itself is 118, then in that case, entire 118 will be disallowed.
सर सेक्शन 145 ये कहता है कि जो ट्रांजैक्शन है इंक्लूसिव ऑफ जीएसटी करना है, तो जीएसटी का इनडायरेक्टली तो बेनिफिट लिया जाता है अगर हम इनपुट भी ले लेते हैं, तो वो भी अगर नहीं पे किया 45 डेज में तो उस केस में क्या
सर प्रॉब्लम ये है कि we generally do an overthinking and most of the times we are thinking beyond. Sir, if I in my books of accounts, if I am taking an expenditure only 100, why I should disallow 118? Whether it is covered under 145A or not, that doesn't matter, sir. If I am going for an exclusive books of account where the on the sales side also I do not book the GST, and on the purchase side also I do not book the GST. All my GST liability, payable, receivable is outside my P&L account. Then I don't think I need to disallow 118 in any case. So, but yes, if somebody is booking the sales inclusive of GST and they are also booking the purchases inclusive of GST, then yes, in that case, 118 will be disallowed. Otherwise, only 100 will be disallowed.
सर सीए सुमेर गुप्ता जी की क्वेरी है, जब ट्रांजैक्शन हुई थी तो एमएसएमई में रजिस्टर्ड नहीं थे, but afterward he get registered, then what will be the position?
So the position is as it is. The day you came to know that they are MSME, then in those cases you have to adhere with this guidelines and you have to give them a benefit of MSME Act and you have to make the payment immediately. So many times it happens with us also. We raise a bill to our client, the client do not pay us for 2 months, 3 months, then we said, look, I am registered under MSME. If you do not pay me, I will also ask you to pay me interest. So anybody who have done it later on, then yes, the day you came to know that they are MSME and registered under the Act, then you have to give them all the benefits.
सर सीए अमरजीत कंबोज की क्वेरी है, in case of purchase of capital asset which is not claimed as deduction, will there be any disallowance?
तो मालूम था कंबोज साहब ऐसा कुछ ना कुछ पूछेगी जिसका आंसर नहीं आता होगा मुझे. Sir, 43B, first of all, is allowed, applicable generally only in case of revenue expenditure. And we all know this, sir. So, according to me, if you have purchased a capital item, which is not debited, or I said, you have not capitalized also, it is under CB. The amount is under capital work in progress. And you have not claimed any deduction. Sir, if you have not claimed any deduction, no disallowance under 43B can be made because I have not claimed any expenditure. So if I have not claimed any expenditure, then disallowance can also not happen. That is very, very clear, sir.
Sir, Kabir साहब फिर पूछ रहे हैं whether ICI or CBDT is coming out any clarification on 43BH.
कंबोज साहब मुझे समझ में नहीं आता क्लैरिफिकेशन की जरूरत क्या है. There is no need for any clarification. The only point is, Kamboj Saab, that everybody is rotating here and there. They are not reading the law is. 43B very clearly says it has to be a payment under section 15 of the MSME Act. Then I go to MSME and say which payments are covered. Then I go to micro definition of micro and small. So I don't think we need any clarification like that, but I don't know whether they are coming up any clarification with any clarification. For sure, ICA will not come because it is not a subject matter of any policy or something like that. So ICA, and this is also not an attest function. So ICA, I'm sure that they will not come. Yes, at the board level, आपने बोला है तो I will try to talk to somebody in TPL and say that they should issue some FAQ or something on this topic. So I will definitely talk to them.
सर डेप्रिसिएशन की जो मेरी क्वेरी है, अगर आप सेक्शन भी देखें ना, वहां पर भी है अलाउड एज ए डिडक्शन. तो वर्ड यहाँ भी डिडक्शन है. वैसे जजमेंट्स हैं कि जहां ये कहा गया है कि इट इज नॉट एन एक्सपेंडिचर बट इट इज एन अलाउंस.
सर आपको पता तो है, मैं आपको जस्ट यही कहने जा रहा था कि डेप्रिसिएशन इज नॉट एन एक्सपेंडिचर एट ऑल. इट इज एन अलाउंस सब्जेक्ट टू द रूल्स प्रिस्क्राइब्ड. सो हेंस according to me, sir, you remember these old days of cash payments, sir. In cash payments also, when we make cash payment exceeding rupees 10,000, 48.3, in that also, when earlier we used to make payments and capitalize those assets and then said depreciation will be allowed. Then they have specifically made an amendment and said that if you made a cash payment for a capital asset exceeding rupees 10,000, then it will be reduced from the actual cost. So that is the amendment what they made there also. So, sir, to a combined reading of 48.3, 43B and all, then it is, according to me, for capital expenditure, as far as depreciation is concerned, it is not to be impacted.
सर वैसे तो आपकी व्यू बिल्कुल क्लियर है और एज ए मेंबर ऑफ द प्रोफेशन देयर शुड नॉट बी मेनी क्वेरीज. बट मैं ये समझता हूँ कि क्योंकि पेमेंट का एकदम प्रेशर आ जाएगा ना जी सभी के ऊपर, तो हर असेसी का, हर क्लाइंट का, हर अपने प्रोफेशनल का कोई ना कोई क्वेरी कहीं ना किसी क्वेरी के रूप में वो एज ए एस्केप रूट ढूंढ रहे हैं. तो दिस इज व्हाट आई थिंक कि वो एस्केप रूट में कहीं हम कोई फिट होते हैं या नहीं है. अदरवाइज जो गवर्नमेंट की पर्पस है इसको लाने का वो तो बड़ा क्लियर है, टू मेक द पेमेंट्स इन टाइम टू सपोर्ट द एमएसएमई इंडस्ट्री. दैट्स वेरी ट्रू एंड वेरी क्लियर. तो फिर भी मेंबर्स की क्वेरीज हैं, कहीं कोई मुझे आ रही है, आपको आ रही है, कोई अपने दिमाग में भी वो खुराफत सी आ जाती होती है कि यार ऐसे कर ले, ऐसे ना कर ले. तो उस वजह से ये क्वेरी थी. तो आई थिंक मेरा भी यही व्यू है कि अगर हम कैपिटल एसेट है वहां पर ये नहीं होना चाहिए, जो एज ए रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर हम क्लेम कर रहे हैं वही होना चाहिए. थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. थैंक यू जी.
सर
प्रधान जी आप एक काम कर सकते हो संजीव जी, व्हाट यू कैन डू इज यू कैन आस्क ऑल द मेंबर्स टू गिव ऑल द क्वेरीज इन राइटिंग टू यू. Let Arun ji and the study circle team makes the answer to all these queries. Then they can send it to me. I will vet those things and those can be issued as FAQ to all the members.
Sir, certainly we'll do this, sir.
Because what happens is, sir, 90% queries are same. Everybody is thinking their own way and come to the same conclusion. So that is why I think if you can do this exercise, then I think it will be a great help to not only to your DTBA members, but maybe that will be circulated across the country.
Sir, we will certainly do this. We will certainly.
चलिए
सर नेक्स्ट क्वेरी लूं या बाकी लास्ट क्वेश्चन
ले लीजिए सर. अगर कोई और है तो then I go last. Let me complete one more thing and then you take it.
Okay.
So in this case, what we have done is we have taken a service or we have taken a goods on 1st of January. The maximum day is 45, which is 15th of February. And if I make the payment before 31st of March, then matter is over. Now, let us take a case where I have taken goods or services on 1st of March. And the period is 45 days. As on 31st March, which is the last day of the financial year or the previous year, payment is not due at all because the credit period is still left. Or maybe I have taken services on 25th of March or 31st of March itself. I received the invoice on 31st of March itself. Then I have 45 days period. I have not made any payment during the year. And assuming that invoice I have received is from a micro enterprise or a small enterprise registered under MSME Act, and I am also aware about the same as a payment. So what will happen to those? Because the law says very clearly that any payment made to them have to be actually paid within the year itself. But it says that the payment should be covered under Section 15. So Section 15 says that if the payment is made within the credit period, within that credit period which is allowed or maximum 45 days, then it is not covered under Section 15. But if it is beyond that period might be 5 days, that period might be 15 days, that period might be 30 days, that period might be 40 days, but the maximum is 45 days. So assuming all are maximum 45 days, in those cases also, I have received the invoice on 31st March itself. So my appointing date on the MSME Act is 31st March itself, and I have a time till 15th of May to make the payment. And that time period or the previous year ends on 31st March. Then what will happen? I have not made any payment. So now read Section 15 of MSME Act, which says that if you make the payment within that 45 days period, then it is not a payment covered under Section 15 of the MSME Act itself, meaning thereby all the outstanding payments as on 31st March, for which if the credit period or the period which is provided by the law 45 days have not expired and the person have made payment during that time. So I have made payment on or before 14th of May or 15th of May 2000 after the end of the previous year, then also these payments are not referred as or not covered under Section 15 of the MSME Act, hence allowed. There is no disallowance. However, if the person do not make payment within that time, that 45 days after 31st March, then yes, those payments will be disallowed. So I received the bill on 31st March. My due date is, for example, 15th of May. I made the payment till 15th of May, no problem at all. I do not make payment. I make payment on 20th of May. Then this particular amount will be, or expenditure will be disallowed in the last year, but it will be allowed in the next year. Then you actually pay the amount. So that is the last part for those payments or those invoices or those services that you have taken for which credit period have not yet expired as on 31st March. So those things to be read like this in conjunction with Section 15 of the MSME Act and 43B taken together. So this is the last part about 43. Sir, itna simple hai aur kuch hai hi nahi. I don't know why people have created so many controversies around it. So now I sum up everything. Sir, dekhiye. Now, as a tax auditor, because ultimately why we are concerned, because we have to do a tax audit. And in that tax audit, I need to justify and know what are the payments which are covered under 43BH. So while doing the tax audit, now what I have to do? First of all the creditors I will check. How many creditors belongs to the trading concern? Forget about it. How many payments belongs to big companies? Forget about it. How many payments belong to those parties who are not registered under MSME? Forget about it. All the parties for which the credit period have not expired on 31st March, but that have been paid within that credit period. Forget about it. Only those have to be reported for which either the 45 days have already been expired or after 31st also, whatever is the credit period allowed, though that 45 days period is expired, that I have to report. Very simple, nothing more. Now, how the person who is making the payment will be aware about it? So here we need to educate our clients. Here our role comes where we have to tell our clients that they need to get for a KYC norm. Thereby, he will ask all his parties from which he is buying goods or services that whether that person from whom he is buying goods or services are covered under SME, registered under MSME or not. If yes, then whether they are small or micro or they are medium. Or if it is small and micro, then those ledgers, those parties have to be segregated, and we need to ensure that payments to at least to these people who are small and micro needs to be made within the time before 31st March or within the unexpired period of the credit. So बस इतना ही काम करना है सर, इससे ज्यादा और कुछ इधर उधर सोचने की कोई
सर
आवश्यकता
इसमें एक स्टेप और ऐड हो गया ना कि अब अगर whether even if a person is registered as MSME, now he is registered as a service provider but in actually is a trader, then we will need and that person is
then in that case you need to do a due diligence of that, and you have to write to them that you are not at all a service provider to us.
well, we have to take declaration from him that he is
Yes,
providing
of
a trading
course.
services.
Of course, sir, you have to tell them. Sir, इसमें एक और चीज बताता हूँ आपको. Many organizations are covered under MSME, but they do not want to take the benefit, but they have taken registered under MSME only to get a PLI, preferential lending rate from the bank. So MSMEs from the banking perspective will be given certain benefits. So these companies, these enterprises, these organizations want to avail the benefit of preferential sector lending and that PSL benefit for which they have specifically registered on the act, and on their certificate also it was written that their registration is only for taking the benefit of the banking sector under the priority sector lending. Even the person is registered under that particular law, then he is deemed to be not registered for section 15 of the MSME Act. So meaning thereby he is not entitled for any benefit, and 43BH is not applicable on them.
So only for the sake of repetition, I just wanted to clarify for the members also. The main issue that would arise is the cases in which the person has been registered as manufacturer or service provider, but in actual he's a trader. In actual he's a trader, and our client says that he's a trader. So even if the payment is pending for more than 45 days, but MSME Act is not applicable to him. In that case, for our report, as for our reporting requirements, if we should take that declaration from that person that he's a trader, he's doing trading activity with our client, and he's not doing manufacturing activity, and
Correct.
then we can rely upon that declaration.
Correct. Take a specific declaration that this particular item or this particular invoice, what he have issued to you, is not covered under section 15 of the MSME Act. Simple declaration, forget about trading, forget about everything. The moment he is intended to do that, okay, my payment, what I am going to receive is not covered under section 15 because of XYZ reasons. I may be a medium, I may not be registered, I may be do not want to take the benefit, I may taken a registration under a wrong name, etc. Everything will be over. So take simple this declaration, which is more than enough. Because MSME Act is again a voluntary act, which if somebody want to take benefit, they need to register. It is not a mandatory that everybody has to register.
So there is one question from the members. Is this section applicable to persons filing ITR under 44AD or 44ADA?
Sir, आपको मालूम है section 28, all disallowances under section 43B pertains to an expenditure which is supposed to be claimed under section 28 of the Act in relation to that. And 44AD overrides from 28 to 44. So when it overrides everything, so 43B is also overrided. The moment 43B is overrided, there is no point of doing. One more, ये भी एक अच्छा चीज है, sir. All those assessees who are under 44AD or ADA, forget about this section. They are not required to do this benefit. चले sir. Arun ji, I think you are on mute. Any?
हाँ जी sir. Sir, there is another question. Traders who procures goods from MSME units are also covered or not? Traders who procure goods from MSE units are also covered or not?
Yes. No, sir, they are covered. Please. Very good question, I think. Sir, here, if I procure goods from an MSME unit, which is a micro or small, whether I am a trader, whether I am another manufacturer, whether I am a consumer of those goods, in all cases, this section applies to me. Because the person who is receiving the goods or person who is receiving the services, he may be anybody. That doesn't differentiate. What is important is from whom I am taking. So from whom I am taking is a micro or a small unit, a manufacturer or a service provider, then yes, it is covered.
सर एक वरुण गर्ग जी की क्वेरी है, if supplier is not asking for interest and it is written in their agreement also, whether do you have to make provision for interest?
No, sir. If he is not asking and he is relinquish his interest, I don't think that we need to do the provision.
सर सुमेर गुप्ता जी की क्वेरी है, whether an assessee can claim reduction on the basis of check issued not presented as on 31st March.
Sir, the moment I have issued a check and that is not PDC, which is not a post dated, a current dated check is issued, then it is deemed to be paid. Now it is on the other party whether he would like to present it in the bank or not. That is not my responsibility. According to my books, it is paid on that date, sir. When now it was standing in the clearing or under my BRS.
सर इसके अंदर अगर पर्सन के बैंक में बैलेंस ही नहीं है और उसने चेक इशू कर दिया है फॉर अ प्लानिंग पार्ट टू टेक 3 month मोर बेनिफिट,
इफ एंड बट बहुत लगाते हो आप लोग. बैलेंस ही नहीं है, ये नहीं है सर. अभी आपको क्या पता, मैंने आज 31st को चेक इशू कर दिया, 1 तारीख को मेरे अकाउंट में 5 करोड़ रुपए आने हो.
बट सर 31st को तो बैलेंस होना चाहिए ना, बंदे ने चेक काट रहा है.
जरूरी क्या जरूरी है? मैंने पेमेंट कर दी, मैंने पेमेंट करके उसको बोला तू चेक डाल दे, उसने कहा ठीक है जी कल चेक डालूंगा. 1 तारीख को बैंक बंद होता है, 2 तारीख को चेक डालेगा, 3 तारीख को मेरे पास क्लियरिंग पे आएगा, 3 तारीख को बैलेंस हो जाएगा. सर व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट इज that whether the check which have been issued have been cleared in a reasonable period of time or not. That is what we need to see. If the check is issued on the due date and it is presented within a reasonable period of, let's say 10 days, 15 days or whatever the person thinks, and it was not bounced, the check was cleared, then it doesn't matter whether on the day of issue, whether the balance was there or not. तो क्या पता मेरा बैंक 31st मार्च को रात को 8 बजे जाके डिसबर्स किया उसने लोन मेरे को, और चेक मैंने सुबह इशू कर दी हो. तो ये I don't agree that the day I issue check there has to be a balance in the account. That is wrong. No law prohibits me and doing like this. So please don't ask me.
सर सीए राज मित्तल जी की क्वेरी है, प्लीज एलैबोरेट ऑन सेक्शन 16 ऑफ एमएसएमई एक्ट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू मेकिंग प्रोविजन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट ऑन डिलेड पेमेंट इन द बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट. द वर्ड यूज इन द सेक्शन इज शैल पे.
ठीक है सर, शैल लिखा हुआ है. आई एम नॉट डिनाइंग दिस फैक्ट. Somebody wants to claim that benefit, that you can't deny it. I have already told you. जैसे ही मैंने अरुण भाई को पेमेंट लेट करी 45 दिन के बाद, अगर ये चाहेंगे तो मेरे से इंटरेस्ट रिकवर कर सकते हैं. बट अगर ये खुद सरेंडर करना चाहें या खुद मेरे को इंटरेस्ट नहीं चार्ज करना चाहें या अपना जो इंटरेस्ट का राइट है उसको फॉरगो करना चाहें, दैट डज नॉट इम्पैक्ट मी. सो अगर ये मांगेंगे, इफ द पर्सन हु इज एट डिफॉल्ट, if he have been asked to pay, then I don't have any choice that I will not pay. अगर उन्होंने मुझसे मांगा तो मुझे देना ही पड़ेगा. I shall. If the person have not demanded, then it is okay.
सर सीए आशीष अग्रवाल जी की क्वेरी है, आर यू प्लीज क्लैरिफाई द एप्लीकेबिलिटी सेक्शन 43BH ऑन आउटस्टैंडिंग पेमेंट टू एमएसएमई व्हिच आर आउटस्टैंडिंग फ्रॉम प्रीवियस ईयर. ओपनिंग बैलेंसेस आई थिंक.
Sir, opening balances, I don't feel that these provisions will be applicable on them. Why? I tell you why. Because on the opening balances, the expenditure must have been claimed in the previous year itself. You are not claiming those expenditure in the current year. So all the opening balances as on 31st March 2023 the expenditure must have been claimed prior to 31st March 2023 when this section of this provision is not applicable. तो सर इसके ऊपर कोई अप्लाई नहीं होगा, डोंट वरी.
Sir, Vikas Sareen ji की query है, if 30 days is written in invoice, where we can use benefit of 45 days?
No sir, 45 days is the maximum. If it is written 7 days, 7 days. If it is in 15 days, 15 days. If it is in 30 days on invoice, then 30 days only. After 30 days, it will become due and covered under section 15 of the MSME Act.
Sir, I think all queries resolved. अगर किसी member की कोई specific query है, he and she can raise their hand.
दीपक जैन जी की भी कुछ क्वेरी थी, अगर उन्होंने कुछ क्लैरिफाई करना है तो सेक्रेटरी साहब अपना पूछ सकते हैं.
जी सर. सर मैं करना चाहूंगा. सर मेरा इसमें सबमिशन ये है कि सेक्शन 15 जो हमारा सेक्शन 43BH है क्लॉज, इट सेज कि टाइम लिमिट 15 वाली उठा रहा है. ये 15 की एप्लीकेबिलिटी डायरेक्ट नहीं कर रहा है. ये एनी सम पेएबल बाय असेसी टू ए माइक्रो और स्मॉल एंटरप्राइजेस बियॉन्ड द टाइम लिमिट स्पेसिफाइड इन सेक्शन 15. सर अगर हम सेक्शन 15 की अगर कंपोजिशन देखें तो सेक्शन 15 स्पीक्स इन रिलेशन टू ए सप्लायर. सप्लायर एमएसएमई एक्ट में अलग से डिफाइन कर दिया उन्होंने कि जो माइक्रो और स्मॉल एंटरप्राइजेस है जो मेमोरेंडम फाइल करती है, दिस एंड दैट करती है, वो सप्लायर बन जाएगी. राइट सर. तो एज पर एज द एंट्री केसेस ऑफ द एमएसएमई एक्ट की वहां पे उन्होंने जो वेलफेयर मेजर एमएसएमई एक्ट में देने हैं, तो उसके लिए तो उन्होंने जो रजिस्ट्रेशन है, मेमोरेंडम है, वो फाइनल करने के बाद उसको सप्लायर बना दिया. And all the provisions section 15 as well as 16 mandates for in relation to supplier, not in relation to micro or small, sir. But in 43B, the legislature has used the micro or small as defined there, not as supplier.
No. देखिए, मैं आपकी बात समझ गया. That is one of the argument what many people are taking.
Right.
सर आप ये कह रहे हैं कि 43BH ये कहता है any amount which is payable to a micro or small unit, small enterprise,
Yes.
and that payment is beyond the time prescribed under section 15.
Yes.
Let's say the time prescribed was 45 days. Let's assume that for every case, let's say it is 45 days. So sir, now my question is, you are saying that we are referring to section 15 only for the time limit, not for other things. Now, what is the meaning of micro? What is the meaning?
सर माइक्रो का मीनिंग सेक्शन 43B में नीचे दे रखा है सर.
क्या दे रखा है सर?
सेक्शन माइक्रो इन एक्सप्लेनेशन 4 क्लॉज ई में माइक्रो एंटरप्राइजेस शैल हैव द मीनिंग असाइन्ड टू इट इन क्लॉज H ऑफ सेक्शन 2 ऑफ MSME एक्ट. सर नाउ इफ वी गो टू MSME एक्ट, MSME एक्ट
वहां पे लिखा हुआ है सेक्शन 7 में जो प्रिस्क्राइब्ड है, राइट?
Yes, very right, sir. Section 7 जो है again says that classification of enterprises, वो क्या mandate करता है? Subsection 1 में उसके बाद clause A पढ़ता हूँ सर. In the case of an enterprise is engaged in the manufacture or production of goods.
Correct.
उसके
उसके लिए
बाद
वो
वो माइक्रो
लिमिट दी हुई है.
लिमिट दी हुई है सर. राइट सर.
engage in services.
और यस सर, वो लिमिट दी हुई है. और उसके बाद जो सेक्शन 8 है सर, सेक्शन 8 मैंडेट्स करता है, काइंडली मैं रीड करूंगा. एनी पर्सन हु इंटेंड्स टू एस्टेब्लिश ए माइक्रो और स्मॉल एंटरप्राइजेस मे एट हिज डिस्क्रिशन फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ माइक्रो और स्मॉल देयर इज नो कंडीशन प्रेसिडेंट की उनको रजिस्ट्रेशन करवानी ही करवानी है. MSME कहीं पे भी ये मैंडेट नहीं करता. अगर वो करवाना चाहते हैं तो दे आर फ्री टू डू दैट, अदरवाइज स्टिल दे विल रिमेन एज ए माइक्रो बाय रीडिंग टुगेदर 2E एंड सेक्शन 7. सर
एग्रीड.
तो एज फार एज दिस इंटरप्रिटेशन इज कंसर्न्ड, तो माय हम्बल व्यू इज दैट कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल रजिस्ट्रेशन इन माय हम्बल व्यू इज नॉट कंपल्सरी टू फॉर ए माइक्रो टू assign it to a micro enterprises. उसको माइक्रो को माइक्रो कहने के लिए registration is not compulsory, sir. और secondly, it is not applicable to मतलब we have not to enlarge the scope to the supplier definition.
चलिए सर, अब मैं I'll counter argue. First of all, we also are required to read the memorandum of this amendment. The memorandum clearly says, if you go to Finance Act 2023 or Finance Bill 2023, the
Yes, sir.
memorandum says that the purpose of incorporating of this particular provision in this 43B is to strictly implement Section 15 of the MSME Act.
No,
Okay.
okay, right, sir.
First. Second, if you read the entire section along with the definitions by way of an explanation 4, everything is related to this MSME Act. So meaning thereby, in my humble view, we have to take colors and we have to take the precedent conditions of Section 15 of the MSME Act itself. If the government is intended to give benefit to all the people, then they should not have referred it like this. Then they said that any person who is a micro unit with this or this or this. So this is there. As far as this registration is concerned, the third point is registration. Sir, I personally believe again, as a buyer of goods or as a buyer of services, how I will come to know that the person what he is claiming is correct or not? So yes, to some extent, I agree with you, because under the Act, they are not supposed to get registered, but they should tell us. They should tell me as a buyer of their goods and services, they are micro and small. So what we are doing, or what earlier even the companies said, all the big companies, they are saying whether you are covered under MSME Act or not, whether you are micro or small, or medium enterprise or not, you need to declare us. And the moment we declare, they said, okay, provide us the registration copy. So to that extent, I believe we are here to help our SSC and do the better compliance. If any micro or a small enterprise, if they want to claim the benefit, why not they should get registered? Or even if in those cases, I still, the buyer has to do a due diligence and buyer has to ask them whether you are registered, you are covered or not. The argument that it is only a time frame and all the micro and small are covered, I personally, in my humble opinion, that is not the intention of the law. And as a prudent law person, I feel that is not the right interpretation. Even in your case, trading concerns are out. Even whether you go by my interpretation or your interpretation, in both the cases, I think traders are absolutely out, no doubt about it. And let us see, let us test these things in the court of law, what the court decides in whose favor. So
Right.
yes, and there might be this kind of interpretation, and many people are doing interpretation like this also. In my humble view, that is not the objective of the amendment. Because we have to
Right,
go
sir.
behind what is the main objective of the amendment as well.
Right, sir.
So there is one more query with respect to opening balance.
Yes.
During the year अगर उस account में transaction हो जाती है, let's say opening balance 1 lakh है, during the year purchase and sale की transaction, purchase की transactions हो गई है, payment हो गई है, तो FIFO base follow होगा पहले?
बिल्कुल सर, ये तो हमेशा ही होता है।
अगर bill to bill transactions हो रही है तब भी FIFO follow होगा?
सर, या तो आप उसमें ये कहो उसको कि जब आप पेमेंट कर रहे हो कि आपके ओपनिंग का पेमेंट नहीं कर रहे, there was some dispute or something, or you say that okay, during the year I received invoice number 10 and I am making payment of invoice number 10. तो जैसे
Okay.
एग्जांपल के तौर पे बता दो, बहुत सारी कंपनीज क्या करती हैं, जब वो पेमेंट करती हैं तो आफ्टर मेकिंग अ पेमेंट दे यूज्ड टू सेंड अ ईमेल स्टेटिंग दैट they have made payment against this invoice, deducted this much tax and all. So if you also follow the same, then yes, it is deemed to be a payment made for bill raised during the year. If nothing is mentioned, then on FIFO basis.
Sir, one more query on same transaction 40A IA is applicable because TDS deduct नहीं किया और 43 भी पेमेंट भी नहीं की, तो कौन सी डिसअलाउंस पहले होगी या किस तरह होगा?
सर, जोन सा सेक्शन पहले आता है, वो वाला डिसअलाउंस पहले होगा।
Okay.
सिंपल,
मतलब 30
40A IA जो है वो 40 है और ये 43 है। सो आई बिलीव कि 40 पहले आता है तो 40A IA का डिसअलाउंस पहले होगा।
पहले 30% उधर करके 70% हम इधर कर देंगे या 100?
सर देखिए, ये अगेन इट इज अ मैटर ऑफ इंटरप्रिटेशन. One view is that once a disallowance is made under one section, no further disallowance can be made under another section. That is one view of interpretation. Another view is, okay, so then my question is, why 70%? Why not entire 100% again? 30% disallow there and also disallow here as a 70. मैं इसको सर एक और बोलता हूँ, personal expenditure debited, you disallow it in 37 and you have also not deducted TDS. Can you disallow additional 30% under 40 AIA?
No.
That is not the case, na? So any disallowance has to be made under one section only. It might be a dispute tomorrow that the AO will say or assessing officer will say that I will not accept a disallowance under 40A IE, but rather I will go for a disallowance under 43B. So AO may argue like this, but as per General Clauses Act, any provision which comes first has to be followed first. इसीलिए सर डेप्रिसिएशन जो है ना वो 38 सेक्शन में नहीं है, 32 में है. General deduction 37 में है. So prior provisions are always preferred over the lateral. So अगर मेरे हिसाब से 40A IA का disallowance पहले होगा. कंबोज जी, what is your say? सुभाष जी भी है. सुभाष जी, what is your view on this? कंबोज जी, सुभाष जैन जी, any view on this?
इसमें सेटली आपकी बात बिल्कुल ठीक है कि AO will take a aggressive view and whatever is disallowable will disallow under that section and whatever the remaining amount is there, and because if he disallows under section 40A IA, then the purpose of this section 43 will be defeated. Then again the people will start making the planning not to deduct and disallow only 30% and claim the benefit of the remaining 70%. But of course the law moves in such a way. जो मैं पहले बोला था ना कि वो कोई क्वेरीज या कोई क्लैरिफिकेशंस आ रही हैं, तो बेसिकली तो ये तो एक FAQ ही निकालने पड़ेंगे.
सर ऐसा सर ये बहुत क्लियर है. कमोद साहब कोई बहुत क्लियर है. अगर 43B के कारण डिडक्शन ही अलाउएबल नहीं है तो 40AI कहां से लगेगा? 40AI will come into play only if deduction is allowable. 43B से deduction is not allowable because of cash payment basis.
नहीं, दोनों ओवरराइड कर रही है ना जी.
ओवरराइड नहीं कर रहे.
ये आइए तो नॉर्मल प्रोविजन है, लेकिन 43B overrides anything.
Yeah, I agree. So I agree with Kamboj ji. Subhash ji, both overrides. 43B also overrides.
Secondly सर अगर
43B है, अगर 43B आ गया,
मैं सर 43B में अगर डिसलाउंस हो जाती है ना, अगर 43B पे डिसलाउंस हो जाए ना, तो कहीं ना कहीं जाके वो ठीक हो सकते है अपील में. 40A वाली ठीक होनी मुश्किल हो जाती है.
नहीं, बात उसकी नहीं है सर. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट एज अ स्टूडेंट ऑफ लॉ. सो जनरल क्लॉजेज एक्ट में ये स्पेसिफिक प्रोविजन है. मतलब मेरे को तो ऐसे ही पढ़ाया गया जब मैंने LLB की, कि जो प्रोविजन पहले आएगी पहले वही लगेगी, बाद में दूसरी लगेगी.
ये भी ठीक है.
जंप ऑन द प्रोविजन. सो अगर हम उस इंटरप्रिटेशन पे जाएं तो 40A IA will be the first provision which will hit if TDS is not deducted, and that is only disallowance. Once disallowance is made there, the disallowance cannot be made in any subsequent section. However, the other consequences may follow.
अविनाश जी, मेरी थी मैं मिस कर गया. अगर एक MSME रजिस्टर्ड मैन्युफैक्चरर है, वो कोई ट्रेडेड गुड्स आपको बेचता है, तो उसके ऊपर एप्लीकेबल है कि
नहीं है सर, नहीं. अगर ट्रेडेड गुड्स है तो सर his activity what he is doing with me is the trading and not covered under the act. I personally strongly believe that this particular payment is not covered under this section 15 of the MSME.
सर एक क्वेरी है, कंसाइनमेंट बेसिस की सेल पे तो जिसके अंदर होता है.
कंपोज जी कुछ कह रहे हैं. हाँ जी कंपोज जी.
मुश्किल एक मिनट सर. 40 section says amounts not deductible and it starts with notwithstanding anything to the contrary in section 30 to 38. But sir, section 43B starts with notwithstanding anything contained in any other provisions of this act.
So 43B will prevail.
I think that.
Yes, definitely, sir. Definitely, sir. Kamboj sir, I also want to point out this point कि non-obstant से class जो है वो 43B की that is more wide, sir.
Then 43B will prevail. तो सर 40A IA में नहीं होगा disallowance. चलिए सर, हाँ जी।
सर कंसाइनमेंट बेसिस सेल पे जब गुड्स आगे सेल होती है तो तभी उस सेल मानी जाती है, नहीं तो तभी गुड रिटर्न आ जाती है, तो उस केस में क्या रहेगा? तो
सर मैं ना इसको और फर्दर बोलता हूँ। सर मेरी एक दुकान है, मेरी दुकान पे एक मैन्युफैक्चरर आता है, वो कहता है सर मेरा प्रोडक्ट सेल करने के लिए आप अपनी दुकान पे लगा दो। मैं कहता हूँ भाई मुझे को नहीं चाहिए। ही इंसिस्टेड एंड ही सेड आप उस पे शेल्फ पे रख लो, जितना बिक जाएगा उसके पैसे दे देना, नहीं तो प्रोडक्ट वापस कर देना। मैंने कहा ठीक है तू भेज दे 10 यूनिट। जब 10 यूनिट आई तो वो that 10 units will come along with the bill. ई-वे बिल भी कटना था, सब कुछ होना था। So we received those 10 units and along with the bill. Now the sale do not happen in 45 days. Sale हुई नहीं. Whether I am liable to make payment for that sale? No. Whether that particular item is my expenditure? No. So in consignment sale also, it is the appointed date is the date when you are liable to make the payment. So consignment sale में on approval, after approval जो है आपकी liability to pay होती है या वो appointed date होती है. So consignment sale में the moment they have accepted the consignment, then only the period of 45 days will start from there. हाँ जी सर, I hope I सर।
किसी और की कोई क्वेरी है तो हैंड रेज कर सकते हैं या अपने आप को अनम्यूट कर सकते हैं।
Otherwise, I want to move to 15 CSAB, some important practical things.
सर एक क्वेरी थी मेरी।
हाँ जी बताइए सर।
सर ये जो 43BH का है 31 मार्च में जो बैलेंसेस स्टैंड कर रहे हैं उनके रिगार्डिंग भी हमने चेक करना है। जैसे मतलब जैसे मान लीजिए हमने कोई परचेज करी थी 28 मार्च में, तो उसके 45 डेज हमने बियॉन्ड 31 मार्च को भी जाके देखने हैं।
बिल्कुल देखने पड़ेंगे सर। ऑल द पेमेंट्स व्हिच आर आउटस्टैंडिंग एज ऑन 31 मार्च 2024, you have to do a due diligence for all the payments.
ओके
हेलो,
ठीक है
हेलो
सर।
सर, मेरी क्वेरी है जी एक।
जी
वैसे
मित्तल
वैसे क्वेरीज में वो ले ली गई, मैं दोबारा उसको सर उसमें एलाबोरेशन चाहता हूँ। सेक्शन 16 ऑफ द MSME एक्ट रिगार्डिंग प्रोविजन फॉर इंटरेस्ट पेएबल, आपने कहा कि जब ये सामने वाला उसको छोड़ देता है या वो डिमांड नहीं करता तो उसकी बुक्स में डालने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है। इसका क्वेश्चन मेरा ये है सर कि सामने वाला कब छोड़ता है? हम 31 मार्च 2024 की बात कर रहे हैं। सामने वाले को छोड़ने के लिए कितना पीरियड अलाउड है कि किसके बाद वो क्लेम नहीं कर सकता? मैं एज ए ऑडिटर प्रोविजन के बारे में क्या कमेंट दूंगा?
नहीं सर, देखिए सर, एज पर लॉ, इफ यू हैव मेड द पेमेंट and within a reasonable period of time the party have not asked for the interest component, or he have given a full and final settlement, or he have given a no due certificate, or he himself forgoes the amount of interest, then I am not under an obligation as a company or as an auditor to create a provision for interest. That is one. Second, suppose there is a payment which is outstanding as on 31st March and I have not made any payment, and till the date I am signing the audit report, until that date also the payment have not been made. For those payments, if I do not, or the management do not have a certificate certifying from the party that he do not wish to claim interest, or he have given a no due certificate, etc., then till that time I am under an obligation as an auditor to ensure that the provision for interest has to be there in the books for all those payments, as provision for interest has to be there.
Right.
मेरा एक क्वेश्चन सी।
जी हरी जी।
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई एम रियली सॉरी कि मैं पहले ही थोड़ी डेलीब्रेशन सुन नहीं पाया, मैं लेट ज्वाइन किया, तो हो सकता है इट मे बी रेपिटेशन ऑफ अर्लियर क्वेश्चन मे बी रेज्ड अर्लियर आल्सो। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ 44 AD ਜਾਂ 44 AD ए ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਵਰਡ ਨੇ SSC,
उधर नहीं लगेगा सर, 43B is not applicable on them.
ਬਟ ਉੱਥੇ ਅਗੇਨ ਫਿਰ ਇਹ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਆਂਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ 44 AD ਦਾ ਨੋਟ ਵਿਦ ਸਟੈਂਡਿੰਗ ਹੈ, that states specific certain sections, but 43B says notwithstanding anything contained in the act, and there is a judgment of also Panji Tribunal ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਪਲੀ ਲਈ ਹੈ ਕਿ 44 AD ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਅਗਰ 43B ਦੇ ਅਕੋਰਡਿੰਗਲੀ ਪੇਮੈਂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਈ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਐਡੀਸ਼ਨ ਮੰਨੀ ਜਾਏਗੀ।
सर यहाँ पे बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स ही नहीं मेंटेन्ड है।
नहीं, बट बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट चाहे ना भी मेंटेन्ड हो, 44AD में भी
वो जजमेंट मेरे को दे देना। आई हैव नॉट रेड दैट जजमेंट, बट प्राइमा फेसाई आई एम स्टिल ऑफ द व्यू दैट बिकॉज इट हैज स्पेसिफिकली ओवररिडन those 43B provisions under 44AD, so hence I still feel that there is no requirement to fulfill this provision.
just 1 minute, I read the section.
44AD na sir?
43B ਜਿਹੜਾ section है, (43B) ਚ word है notwithstanding anything contained in any other provision of this act.
Okay.
And what 44AD says, notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in section 28 to 43C. So this is a wider 43B. This will prevail. Our 44AD.
Sir, in this case, 44AD will prevail.
Anji,
44AD will prevail.
43B will prevail because ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪਣਜੀ ਦੀ ਜਜਮੈਂਟ ਹੈ ਟ੍ਰਿਬਿਊਨਲ ਦੀ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹੀ ਲੌਜੀਕ ਲਿਆ ਹੈ ਕਿ this is more widely covered because this is anything contained in the act in 43B. 43B will override section 44ADA.
नहीं Maneja sir, notwithstanding 28 to 43C.
वो स्पेसिफिक है
43
और 43B च एनी प्रोविजन इन द एक्ट उनदे च 44AD भी कवर हो गया। ध्यान नाल पढ़ो। और पणजी ट्रिब्यूनल दी जड़ी जजमेंट है वो ऐसे बेस ते ही है, ऐसे लॉजिक ते बेस ते है कि दिस इज मोर वाइडली कवर्ड।
दोनों कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी हैं, इट अपीयर्स सो।
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਜਮੈਂਟ ਪੜਨਾ अगर ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ तो मैं साइटेशन दे सकदा।
दे दियो जनाब, बिल्कुल दियो।
Sir, आप citation दे दो, but still I am of the view in the interest of the SSC, the taxpayer, I believe 44AD will prevail and no disallowance under 44AD should be there.
Sir, I agree with Avinash ji because how will you compute it?
Sir, ये judgment
only on estimation basis only, na sir, 44AD. But
ਸਰ
yes,
ਇਹ ਮੈਨੇਜਰ ਜੀ ਜੋ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਜਜਮੈਂਟ ਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਉਹ 2006-7 ਅਸੈਸਮੈਂਟ ਈਅਰ ਦੀ ਆ, ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ 44AD ਇਹ ਆਇਆ ਆ 43B ਇਹ ਆਇਆ 1/4/2011 ਤੋਂ। ਉਹ ਜਜਮੈਂਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਜਮੈਂਟ ਰੈਫਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ TTJ ਵਾਲੀ, that is relating to assessment in 2006-7।
बट वो भी प्रिजम्पटिव टैक्सेशन ते सी ना,
ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੰਪਟਿਵ ਟੈਕਸੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਸੀ, ਲੇਕਿਨ 44AD ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਵਾਂ ਸਬਸਟੀਟਿਊਟ ਹੋਇਆ ਨਾ, ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ, ਕੋਈ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ।
एक minute, sir. Let's not debate here, and we should value the others' time also.
ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ।
For a particular judgment, Hariji, my request is please send this judgment to me. Let us analyze that judgment. What you are saying is not 100% wrong. It might be a view which you are saying is also correct. However, in the interest of the taxpayer and the mechanism prescribed by the law, 44AD will override. Otherwise, the basic objective of making 44AD will fail. But still, I just want to read the judgment and read the year it pertains and the provision at that particular year that we need to see. And based on that, I will come back to you and we will discuss it. If I am wrong in the next webinar on this topic, we will change our view. No problem for that. But very good, sir, that you have brought this judgment. Let us analyze those judgment and analyze that provision. I am saying you are not 100% wrong. If your view, what you are saying is also might be the correct view. Today, in my limited opinion or in my limited understanding, this is not the intent of the law.
one more thing which I would like to add,
Yes, sir.
even when we are interpreting the provisions of 43B and 40AIA, we are saying कि 43B will override 40AIA because 43B says notwithstanding 40AIA general clause.
Correct.
On that logic, I am saying
नहीं सर, वहां पे ठीक है सर, 40A में जो लिमिटेशन है सर, वो फॉरगोइंग प्रोविजन की है, और यहाँ पे सर 44AD में है ना, देयर इज अ स्पेसिफिक ओवर रिटर्न फ्रॉम सेक्शन 28 to 43C. So 44AD override 43B also, and 43B override the other provisions. So it was a conflicting provisions among these two. 40A और इसमें वो उतना वाला कंफ्लिक्ट नहीं है, क्योंकि मैंने भी अभी पढ़ा था, जब कंबोज जी ने पढ़ के सुनाया, तो इट वाज वेरी क्लियर कि दैट 40A वाला प्रोविजन जो है, दैट इज नॉट ओवरराइडिंग 43B. However, 43B overrides it. ये सेम प्रॉब्लम सर हमारे पास आई थी with respect to DTAA also, और उसके अंदर I think there was some passing reference made by Supreme Court on that case. I will read those along with this, and we will come back to you on this part. But sir, intent of the department मैं आपको बता देता हूँ, अगर आप 44AD में हो, department is not willing to disallow you those payment covered under 43BH.
Sir, may I contribute something to it, please?
Please, sir.
Sir, please. Sir, according to me, when there are two sections overriding, the latest section will prevail. The latest section which comes into force will prevail. The 43BH is the latest section.
No, sir. That is there when the entire section is overwritten. So the overwriting effect is already there. So if we change the entire 43B again, then what you are saying is absolutely correct. Only by
Okay, sir, if we take this view itself, then we can discuss 43B and 44AD on this logic as well.
Correct. Sir, आप सिर्फ H के ऊपर मत बात करो.
Okay.
Because 43B में बाकी payments भी आती है ना sir. So that's why only clause के ऊपर वो नहीं होता, according to me. So, but Harish ji, I accept your view and respect your views. Let me check and please share me that judgment of Panji Tribunal. I also read it, and we'll debate it again on this.
One more last question.
Yes, sir.
GDVA provision आई है 43BHD. This is a draconian provision against the basic fundamentals of principles of the business. When two parties agree, what is the law has to take in that? But if law is there, we have to abide by that. Most of the ਜਿਹੜੇ MSME category ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ assessees ਨੇ, business ਨੇ, 90 to 120 days credit period ਚੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ. Even bankers ਵੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੋਈ discounting ਲੈਣੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ DA bills ਡਰਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, 90 to 120 days ਚੱਲਦੇ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ. तो practically ये problem बहुत जबरदस्त आएगी in every assessee. To my mind, in 80% of the assessees, this problem will arise. कि जिन्हां ਦੀਆਂ ਪੇਮੈਂਟਾਂ 31 ਮਾਰਚ ਨੂੰ ਖੜੀਆਂ ਹੋਣਗੀਆਂ. ਹੁਣ as an auditor, ਅਗਰ state way ਆਪਾਂ ਐਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਸੇ ਉਹ ਰਿਟਰਨ ਭਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਿੰਦੀ 5-7 ਕਰੋੜ ਦੀ ਟਰਨਓਵਰ ਹੈ, 10-15-20 ਲੱਖ ਦੀ ਰਿਟਰਨ ਭਰ ਰਿਹਾ, ਔਰ ਕ੍ਰੈਡੀਟਰ ਖੜੇ ਆ 1 ਕਰੋੜ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਓਵਰਡਿਊ ਨੇ. ਹਾਲਾਂਕਿ ਲਾ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਸਾਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਅਗਲੇ ਸਾਲ ਪੇਮੈਂਟ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਏਗਾ. ਬਟ ਦਾ ਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਇਜ਼ ਦੈਟ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੀ ਪਾਕਟ ਚੋਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਅੱਜ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਨੈਕਸਟ ਈਅਰ ਮੇਰਾ ਲਾਸ ਅਪੀਅਰ ਹੋਏਗਾ, ਉਸ ਦਾ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੌਂਗ ਆਫਟਰਵਰਡਸ. तो एज एन ऑडिटर कोई नोट या कोई क्वालिफिकेशन या कोई डिस्क्लेमर उसके बारे कुछ सोचा तुसी?
नहीं सर, कोई.
अच्छा, let the institute first come forward with the guidance note.
No, they will not come forward. Only in the guidance note on tax audit, they will just increase one paragraph or one page on this particular part. Institute will not provide you a detailed guidance on this because it is not. If and buts are not there in the institute case, because we have to do. What you said is absolutely correct. So that is the problem what MSME is facing. They are getting payment after 90 to 120 days, and the government want to benefit them, and the government thought the payment should be given to MSME within 45 days. That is why they have come up with this kind of a provision. That was the objective, which is also prescribed in the memorandum of changes what they have issued in finance bill 2023 also. So practically, because you are on the ground level, where in Ludhiana, most of the units, except barring few big units, all are MSME. So that's why you are looking and seeing all these kinds of problems. But sir, this is a law, and as a auditor, as a tax auditor, I don't think that I can escape my responsibility by putting a note or a qualification or something like that. The law is very clear. I have to mention it that okay, this is the amount which is covered under 43B. which is not allowable during the exam. That we need to do. I have
In
no other
any case, it has to be added in the return of income by filing.
Correct, sir. It has to be added. There is no other options available to
Sir.
the. Yes, sir.
Sir, on this particular issue raised by हरीश जी, तो मेरी एक सबमिशन सी है कि देखो बहुत सारे केसेस ऐसे होंगे more than 80% जिन्हां केसां दे विच 31 मार्च ਨੂੰ ਜਾਂ within the specified period ਉਹ payment outstanding ਹੈ। ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੇਰਾ assessee ਹੈ ਉਹ MSME ਚ covered ਹੈ, ਮੇਰੀ ਬਾਈਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਉਹ MSME ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ। ਦੂਜੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਸੇਲ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਪਲਾਈਜ਼ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਦੇ ਆਰ ਆਲਸੋ ਕਵਰਡ ਅੰਡਰ MSME। ਮੈਂ ਅਗਰ 1 ਕਰੋੜ ਰੁਪਏ ਦੀ ਪੇਮੈਂਟ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਅਗੇਂਸਟ ਮਾਈ ਪਰਚੇਸਿਸ ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਅਗੇਂਸਟ 75 ਲੱਖ ਜਾਂ 2.5 ਲੱਖ ਮੈਂ ਰਿਕਵਰ ਹੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਫਰੋਮ ਮਾਈ ਸੈਲਰ ਫਰੋਮ ਮਾਈ ਪਰਸਨ ਹੂ ਬੌਟ ਫਰੋਮ ਮੀ। ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪੇਮੈਂਟਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਈਆਂ, ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਪੇਮੈਂਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਣਾ। So my suggestion is we should make a proposition to the government and the CBDT कि भी जिन्ना केसां दे विच दोनों पासे अगेन के भी डिफॉल्ट दा पेमेंट दा भी है और दूसरे पासे स्टेट संधि कैटर संधि डेटर्स भी है ना ते जेडे मेरे संधि डेटर्स है ना उन्हां दी क्वांटम जिहड़ा खड़ा है ना वो मेरे संधि कैटर सी लेस करके बाकी जिन्नी कोई बैलेंस अमाउंट बनती है only that addition should be made.
I think it is a good suggestion.
That's one of my suggestions.
It is a good suggestion. I think we can make this suggestion to the government. So what he is saying that I am a MSME, I buy from MSME, I also sell to an MSME,
Yes.
or rather I sell to anybody. But I have not received the payment, so that payment is disallowed under 43B in the hands of my buyer. And because I have not received the payment, I have also not made the payment to another party, which is
Exactly.
MSME. So that is disallowed under my hand. So it is a kind of a double disallow. So what he is suggesting is that, okay, this is the receipt, this is the payment, whatever is the difference. If the payment is more, then only it should be disallowed under 43B. I think it is a good suggestion, Kapoor Saab. So
Thank you,
we will definitely take up this matter and tell them that at least some kind of a netting off should be allowed.
Precisely, sir. Precisely, sir.
Okay, I think this
just one issue more, sir. One discussion consignment sales ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ sir on the issue of consignment sales जो कि क्रेडिट नहीं बनती हाले जी ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ specific ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ by way of FAQ otherwise clarification do ਮੰਗਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ।
consignment sale, I think I am very, very clear on it. There is no liability to pay on a consignment sale till the time the consignment is accepted. So the liability of 45 days will arise only when this is there. But yes, we will try and get some kind of a clarification from the board on this particular part. And I will talk to the concerned person there that this is the issue. But at the same time, I request all the members if they can write to the bar and give me 4, 5, 6 issues for which you really need a detailed clarification, that we will talk to them.
Right, sir.
I myself will talk to JSTPL on this issue. Don't worry.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir Raman Chopra have created this particular section, so I will talk to him. With the JSTPL one of them. Yes, sir. Any other questions, sir? So now I have only 15 minutes left in the meeting, but I want to take two most important. I am not talking about how to give 15 CSEB certificate. Rather, I will be dealing with some issues which have come up recently with respect to issue of 15 CSEB certificate. So may I request others to please mute. I think there was some sound, so please mute. So recently, what happened?
Please mute everybody.
Yeah. So recently, what have happened? So recently, what have happened is department have started scrutinizing 15 CSEB forms which have been filed by the assessee. And in most of the cases, they are calling the persons who have actually issued these forms. So they are asking the chartered accountant to come forward and explain the income tax department about all the forms that they have certified. So friends, be aware of this and be ready for this. And in your cases, whatever form that you will issue from Ludhiana, all these scrutinies, generally happens at International Tax Ward in Delhi. Now, what they are asking from you is, they are asking you about the KYC of your customer who have appointed you. And in one of the case, or rather two of the case, the investigation wing in Delhi, they have identified a series of forms being filed by many chartered accountants to do a money laundering business. And I think 4 or 5 years back, there was a big news relating to the same in the Bank of Baroda fraud also, where people have tried to make payment from India, from Bank of Baroda, Ashok Vihar branch to outside India without paying a taxes, which is a pure money laundering. Now I am doing some cases whereby chartered accountants have issued forms without looking the authenticity and genuinity of the invoice, without looking anything, and they are in big troubles nowadays. However, I personally believe that that is out of the scope which is been asked by the department, because as a chartered accountant, what I am certifying? I am certifying in Form 15CB only the nature of payment and applicability of TDS on the same. I am not certifying anything else. I am not certifying the genuinity of the payment. I am not certifying the genuinity of the invoice. I am not certifying whether that particular payment is a deductible expense or a non-deductible expense, which is not part of my job. My job is to classify the nature of payment, and my job is to tell and to classify whether TDS is deductible on the same or it is not deductible on the same. However, department and the government expects us something more, and that more is that we need to have a whereabouts of the person who have appointed us. That is, first KYC has to be there. Our institute have also prescribed a KYC document who have appointed. So in this case, I come across the chartered accountant who certifies based on somebody who claimed to be an accountant of the company, and on his persuasion, he issued the certificate, and total payment made was about 100 CR. 100 CR, 0 TDS, he have issued invoices. He have issued 15CB certificates. Company is bogus. The invoices are bogus and forged. And the department is not able to found those people. So they found the chartered accountant. Chartered accountant, they have asked who have appointed you, how you have been approved in the database, from where you are receiving the payment, etc., etc. So please be aware about all those transactions, that please do not issue 15 CB certificates for all those cases where you do not have a reasonable care about the KYC of the person. Next issue comes, which is again a very, very important issue which will come, is normally what we do is we issue 15 CB certificate, and immediately from our desktop only we file 15 CA certificate of, by applying the signature of the director. In one of the case, what happened, this case was caught by the income tax department, whereby director given an affidavit that my digital signature was lost, and I have not asked, my password have been hacked, and they have made the form, or the person have filed the form, and the IP address comes to be the office of the chartered accountant. So under the Information Technology Act, the chartered accountant is found guilty. Why he is applying the signature of the director, the digital signature of the director, and filing Form 15CA. So that is the next issue which is coming in the department, which we are practically handling. Please do not file 15CA from your system, or even if you are filing, just get a confirmation from the assessee, from the director, that yes, this is the draft Form 15CA, you have instructed us to file it, and take a confirmation over the email stating that yes, I am agreed with this, and kindly file it. Or let this form to be filed from their office, from their window. So friends, what happened is today we are not understanding and analyzing how much risk we are taking. I have seen people in the department which I am defending, whereby this have been done by them, and everybody does it. Even I does it in past. I'm not denying that I am not doing it, but now we have stopped doing it because the company, the directors, the individuals are many times they are saying that it does not belong to them. Third kind of cases which have come is with respect to those which are repatriation of money, which is on account of sale of land. That is another issue which have come, whereby people have sold, which is an NRI who have sold the land, come to you, you repatriated the money, and based on your 15CB certificate, and then the department is behind you. So in those cases, if the TDS have been deducted properly at 20% or 22% or whatever percentage it is, then it is okay. In many cases, what we have found, we are representing the SSC, where representing the CA, where there is only 1% TDS which have been deducted. So the non-resident, the NRI, at the time of doing the registration of the document, they claim themselves to be the resident, and they are subject to that 1% TDS which is there, or the buyer is deducting only 1% TDS, and then the person come to you for repatriation, and you simply file form 15CB and repatriated the amount without looking the thing that whether the tax liability have been discharged on this or not. So many cases have come where the tax liability have not been discharged by the non-resident, and money have been repatriated just because of your certificate 15CB. Now they are making chartered accountant as agent in those cases, and based on that they are saying that you call the non-resident and you do all these things. So it is an unnecessary trouble which you will invite. So please, before giving certificate for repatriation of money, please ensure that the money is that tax-paid money. Taxes, whatever due taxes have already been paid on this 15CB certificate. This is very, very important, which I just want to tell, so that tomorrow there may not be any kind of a problem which is there. Next, I come across one case. Why I am telling you, because international tax people, whenever we go to the department, I go them and train them also. So we come across these kind of situations where they said that they have these kind of cases. So in one case, the chartered accountant always say, yes, TRC is obtained. When the assessee there on the 201 assessment, assessee have written that I have never asked for TRC tax certificate. I have never obtained that certificate. And in the 15CB form, chartered accountant has specified that TRC has been obtained, yes. So it is a contradictory situation which have come where the person who is remitting the money says, I don't have TRC, I have never asked for it. And chartered accountant is stating that, yes, I have a TRC. So my humble request to all of you, Kapil ji keh rahe TRC kya hota sir? TRC matlab tax residency certificate. For claiming the benefit of the DTA, we have to obtain a TRC first. So if you do not have a TRC available with you, please do not write yes. Please do not give him the benefit of the DTA. My degree is very important, and these are mistakes which we have seen. Many people have done it like this. So don't issue 15CB stating that you have obtained TRC. If it is not there, please specify no. If it is there, then yes, you can go ahead for that. So that is also an important part which one has to look into while issuing the 15CB certificates. Next, sir. Next kind of a problem which have come to me by few chartered accountants is that credit card payments. So many people tried to issue credit card 15CB certificate for credit card payments. In that credit card payments, they are mentioning the BSR code, which is any BSR code they are mentioning. Okay, the credit card is of, let's say, HSBC Bank. So they found on a Google what is the BSR code of HSBC and they mention it. When they issue credit card of SBI, then SBI. Then in the reconciliation process, the department have come across certain 15CBs where the bank have not reported these corresponding 15CB certificates to the income tax. Friends, after my 15CB, the client has to file a 15CA. Then the bank is also required to file a 15CC certificate report. So many certificates have come where the bank have not filed these kind of certificate report. Those are certificate which is not been accepted by bank. So for which the department have done a scrutiny and they have asked for certain information. So don't try to file those 15 CB certificates which are not allowed. So all credit card payments, online payments, PTM kind of a payments, there is no requirement to file any 15 CACB certificate, and don't try to file it because that form is not meant for those kinds of payment. Please do not read. Last part, which is important, which is with respect to payments made to LinkedIn, payments made to Facebook or any other social media platform for advertisement. And on this, equalization levy is payable on the same. So what happened? We have a 6% equalization levy or 2% equalization levy liability, which we have to pay to the government, not under the Income Tax Act, not under Section 195. It is under the different section under the Finance Act. We have to pay this equalization levy, but not under the Income Tax Act. So many chartered accountants, what they are doing is they are making payment. Okay, we are making payment of 100 rupee to the Facebook or to the LinkedIn or to any other social media platform on which 6% equalization levy is to be payable, and they mention the 6% under the TDS part, and they file 15 CB certificate. But the actual payment what they make for equalization levy is not under the challan of 195. This is the separate challan for equalization levy on which they are making. Now department have come up and analyzed the data whereby department says that under 15 CB there is an amount which have been mentioned as TDS to be deducted or taxes to be paid under 195. There is no corresponding challan. Why? Because the corresponding challan is under equalization levy. So in this case, there is no need to write the tax amount under the 15 CB. 15 CB is a certificate which have been issued under Section 195 itself. Only the tax which is payable under 195 has to be written here. Equalization levy is not a tax to be paid under 195. Equalization levy is a separate act, or it is levied by way of a Finance Act. Hence, you are not supposed to mention this in the form 16 or 15 CB. Only thing what you can do is under the other, there is a column for other comment where you say that equalization levy is payable and the same is paid by a separate challan. So that is what is there. So this is also a kind of a mistake, but we are finding that our brothers, professional brothers are taking. So please be aware about those mistakes also, which is very important. And believe me, friends, whatever certificate what you give at 0%, please cross-check it at least twice. If you are giving it at 10%, 20%, it's okay to some extent. Again, I said don't do anything false. But anything what you give at 0%, please double check it. Because department is now looking for all 0% certificates. If the amount increases the threshold limit, then they will definitely go and ask the chartered accountant as well as to the SSC that why the tax is 0% in those cases. So this kind of a scrutiny have already started in Delhi. I don't know, it will start in all parts of the country soon. So please be aware about these 15 CB certificates. While issuing, take a proper due diligence and then issue these certificates. So if you have any other query on 15 CB part, so I am here to answer.
सर 15 CB तो सिर्फ TDS जब डिडक्शन होना तब एप्लीकेबल है.
नहीं सर,
but
अगर आपकी
banks-
डिडक्शन नहीं भी है तो भी आपको 15 CB सर्टिफिकेट भर सकते हो. However, as 15 CA, we have part A, B and C available. But if you want to file 15 CA part C, then 15 CB is mandatory. जरूरी नहीं है कि टैक्स कटेगा तो ही 15 CB जाएगा. टैक्स नहीं कटेगा तो भी 15 CB जा सकता है. सोनी साहब कोई क्वेश्चन है क्या?
सर अंकुर गुप्ता
मेरा
जी
एक,
केवाईसी का फॉर्मेट
राज
मांग
जी,
रहे हैं.
मैं
केवाईसी का फॉर्मेट जो है वो इंस्टीट्यूट के वेबसाइट पे पड़ा हुआ है, आप गूगल करो थोड़ा सा मिल जाएगा. Yes, sir.
MSME से रिलेटेड एक क्वेरी आई है कि जो हम कह रहे हैं कि MSME जो हमारा जो क्रेडिटर है, वी नीड टू आस्क द क्रेडिटर वेदर ही इज MSME और नॉट. Do we at all need to ask it? Let the creditor tell. If creditor doesn't tell, why should we ask?
नहीं सर, नहीं. So the law, imposition of law and provision is on me, and I need to do a due diligence on my part to ascertain whether the person is as MSME or not. So it is always the burden of proof is on me. The payment is not due to MSME. The burden of proof is on me, sir. So that's why we have to.
शिवम गर्ग जी की
सर,
कह रही है
मैं उसको
हाँ।
पूछता हूँ, मेल डाल दी, वो नहीं बताता देन, बट
नहीं बता सर, नहीं उसमें मैं बताता हूँ ना सर, उसमें एक लास्ट लाइन ब्यूटीफुली लिखी है कि इफ यू डू नॉट रिस्पॉन्ड विद इन सच पीरियड देन वी विल प्रिज्यूम दैट यू आर नॉट एन MSME. खत्म हो गई कहानी.
एक्सक्यूज मी सर,
सर
हम
1000 सर, एक मिनट सर, 1000 मेल लिखते हैं ना सर, 2 या 4 का रिप्लाई आता है.
ये सर एक्चुअली क्या है, ये जो बिजनेस कम्युनिटी है उन्होंने लेना है, उन्होंने ये सब कुछ करना है, किसी को लिखना नहीं आता, किसी को मंगवाना नहीं आता, तो दे आर आस्किंग कि हम जैसे एक पार्टी के 500 सप्लायर्स हैं, कहता है 500 को चिट्ठियां लिखूं, मेरे कहता मुझे किसी सांप ने काटा कि मैं चिट्ठियां लिखूं, उसके पास MS है तो मुझे बता दे, मैं उसको पेमेंट कर दूंगा टाइम पर.
सर उसको बोलो कि करना पड़ेगा, लॉ कह रहा है.
आप नहीं जी, डिपार्टमेंट काटेगा आपको.
ਕੰਬੋਸਾ ਸੁਭਾਜਨ ਜੀ, ਆਪਾਂ ਇੰਨੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਇੰਸਟੀਚਿਊਟ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਗਾਈਡੈਂਸ ਨਾ ਦੇਣ, ਕੁਛ ਨਾ ਕਹਿਣ, ਕੋਈ ਟੈਕਸ ਆਡਿਟ ਨਾ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰ, ਕਮ ਸੇ ਕਮ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਇੰਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪੈਨ ਬੇਸ ਚੈਕਿੰਗ ਅਲਾਉ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ.
What kind of pen based checking you want?
सर क्या कैटेगरी की है, उन्होंने दिया ना कैटेगरी चेक कर सकते. रिसेंटली 3 days बैक दे हैव गिवन अस पोर्टल जिससे हम उसका उद्यम रजिस्ट्रेशन डालें, वो बता देगा आपकी कैटेगरी क्या है.
सर वो
सर हम पैन डालें किसी का, सर पैन डाल के कैटेगरी नहीं मिलेगी. आप इतने रिसोर्सेज, इतना टाइम वेस्टेज कर रहे हैं सेमिनार करने पे भी, उसकी लेटर लिखो, उसको ईमेल करो. क्या गवर्नमेंट के पास इतना इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं है, वो यही प्रोवाइड कर दे भी आप पैन डालो, आपको पता चले. हम स्पेसिफाइड पर्सन चेक कर रहे हैं ना सर, गवर्नमेंट ने पोर्टल दिया है वो.
अरे उसके लिए सबसे पहले तो सर, उससे पहले तो सबसे पहले लोगों को बोलना पड़ेगा ना कि वहां पे सिलेक्ट करे कि मैं MSME हूं या नहीं हूं.
सर वो अलग चीज है सर. मैं एज ए बायर, मुझे उसको 2 बार लेटर लिखूं, 10 बार लेटर लिखूं, फिर वो कहता है भी मैं तो MSME हूं नहीं, क्योंकि उसको पता भी ये मेरे से ट्रेड बंद कर देंगे.
अरे जैन साहब वो गवर्नमेंट का वर्जन सुनो. गवर्नमेंट के पास ऐसा कोई सेंट्रलाइज्ड डेटाबेस ही नहीं है जहां पे वो पैन नंबर से ये बता सके कि MSME है या नहीं. पहली चीज
सर, गवर्नमेंट के लिए कोई इम्पॉसिबल है
तो सर ट्रेडर के लिए भी नहीं है ना. दूसरी चीज है, ट्रेडर तो रोज डील कर रहा है अपने पार्टियों से, डेली बेसिस पे पूछ ले जिससे वो डील कर रहा है.
अविनाश सर, गवर्नमेंट के पास डाटा है, उसका एविडेंस मैं देता हूँ कि जो हम लास्ट रिटर्न फाइल करते हैं उसके बेसिस पे हमारी उद्यम पे कैटेगरी चेंज हो रही है. दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन पैन ओनली सर.
सर वो पैन का डेटा या तो MSME डिपार्टमेंट को शेयर हो रहा है, वहां से हो रही होगी. चलिए सर जो भी है, बट यस, हम रिटर्न में डिमांड कर सकते हैं कि रिटर्न में आप जो है कॉलम डाल दो और उसका एक्सेस जो है वो पोर्टल से दे दो.
अविनाश जी, इसमें ना इशू माइक्रो एंड स्मॉल को ज्यादा आ रहा है. अगर हम ये कहें कि माइक्रो एंड स्मॉल एंटरप्राइज जब बिल इशू करे उसमें अपना उद्यम आधार डाल दे, अगर नहीं डाला हो इट मीन वी वांट. हमने क्या किया कि बायर के ऊपर एक जिम्मेवारी डाल दी कि सप्लायर से पूछो तुम. अब सप्लायर को नहीं कहते कि तुम बता दे भाई, ये उल्टा चल रहा है काम. एक्चुअली माइक्रो एंड स्मॉल एंटरप्राइज जो है ना बहुत दुखी हो रहे हैं इस समय, कहते हैं हमारे ऑर्डर कैंसिल हो रहे हैं. They are not, the people are not buying from them now. They have stopped buying.
Then this problem they should write to the government, not the chartered accountant who has been given this duty. My personal view is the chambers and their associations, they should write to the government and press upon.
सर अविनाश जी को इसलिए कह रहे हैं कि अविनाश जी कह रहे हैं कि मैं बात कर लूंगा उन लोगों से, इसलिए कह रहे हैं. एक्चुअली तो जब चैम्बर्स की तरफ से मैं बताऊं आपको, मुझे 6 चैम्बर्स के आज फोन आ गए ये वीडियो देखने के बाद कि हम लेटर लिख रहे हैं जी, हम चिट्ठियां लिख रहे हैं, बताओ क्या लिखें. दे आर आस्किंग अस कि क्या लिखे बताओ. मैं कही पेमेंट आपने देनी है, फंसे हुए आप, और पूछो आप मुझसे रहे.
ਉਹਦੀ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਦਿਓ ਨਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ.
तो बस ऐसा ही है जी.
नहीं, बट आई थिंक जैन साहब का सजेशन वर्केबल है, whereby if the government portal can provide us information to check whether they are covered under 43BH or not. I don't know whether will not happen.
सर
I don't.
ऐसे होएगा या नहीं होएगा, इस साल ना होए, कम से कम नेक्स्ट ईयर के लिए हो जाएगा।
पर जैन साहब ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਿੱਠੀ ਪਾਓਗੇ,
रिसोर्सेज
ਮਾਈ ਵਿਊ ਇਜ਼ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਿੱਠੀ ਅਗਰ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਜਵਾਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਂਦਾ, ਯੂ ਕੈਨ ਪ੍ਰੀਜ਼ਿਊਮ, ਬਟ ਅਗਰ ਪੋਰਟਲ ਤੇ ਆ ਗਿਆ then you will automatically stand
सर क्यों,
covered।
फिर क्या होएगा, दैट विल बी बेटर फॉर अस एज एन
45 ਦਿਨ ਚ ਜਾਂ 15 ਦਿਨ ਚ ਪੇਮੈਂਟ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੋਈ ਪਏਗੀ ਫਿਰ ਤਾਂ।
Sir, no, we should think as an auditor only. We are thinking as on the point of view of businessman only. मुझे अपना टैक्स ऑडिट देना है। सर उसने लेटर लिखी,
ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਵੈਰੀਫਾਈ
सर
ਕਰ
उसने लेटर लिखी,
ਤਾਂ ਡਿਸਅਲਾਊਂਸ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੋਏਗਾ।
चंगी गल
सर
नहीं सर,
सर बिजनेसमैन सही डाटा दे रहा है कि नहीं दे रहा उसका थोड़ी पता हमें।
सर देखिए
हाँ
मेरे को
उसका
एक मिनट सर, I think these are all futile discussion. Sir, this act is very clear and it is in our benefit. Sir, if tomorrow a portal will come where we say that there are 10 PAN numbers who are micro or small, but those units I am dealing with them daily basis and I take a declaration that they are not micro and small, the matter ends. If it is there in the common portal, then I have no option but to do and disallow. So sir, बहुत सारी चीजों को देखते हुए करना पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज क्या होगी, yes, their objective is to benefit micro and small, but unfortunately what have happened is because of this people, and I know many of my clients who stopped buying from micro and small. Sir, even one of my listed company I'm providing a tax consultancy, they have specifically said either you declare that I am not a micro and small, otherwise we will not take a consultancy from you.
This is what is happening, sir. This is what is
happening, sir.
happening.
This is happening.
So then I told them, boss, you are paying me advance, so why are you worried about it? so
It is
in general positive effects are less and negative effects are more.
Sir, it should be obligation of the supplier to tell whether it is micro or small, whatever.
वो एक्चुअली क्या होगा ना, वो अल्टीमेटली एसएससी कौन है? एसएससी इज अ बायर। असेसमेंट किसकी होगी? बायर की होगी। डिसअलाउंस किसका होगा? बायर का होगा। बर्डन ऑफ प्रूफ भी बायर पे आएगा ना सर। सो एक मैं ये कह रहा हूँ सर, कितने एसएससी होंगे सर? 1000 लोग होंगे। आप 1000 लोगों से जब भी अगली बार बिल लो या सामान लो, उनसे एक डिक्लेरेशन स्टैंडर्ड लेके साइन करा के रख लो।
नहीं अभियान सर, ये रीजन ये है कि इसको बेनिफिट किसको हो रहा है, वो मीडियम स्मॉल और माइक्रो को हो रहा है ना। अगर उन्होंने बेनिफिट ड्राइव करना है तो उनकी ड्यूटी उनके ऊपर कास्ट कीजिए, आप इन्फॉर्म करो अपने सप्लायर को, अपने बायर को।
उल्टी गंगा बहा रहे हैं हम लोग वैसे।
सर एक्सक्यूज मी,
जिसको बेनिफिट लेना होगा ना वो तो करेगा ही करेगा। ठीक है सर।
सर एक्सक्यूज मी,
प्रोविजन आगे तो लॉ को तो मुझे फॉलो करना ही है ना सर। इट वाज नेवर रिटन लाइक दिस कि someone is claiming the benefit or if it comes to you, law is very clear सर, अगर वो है तो हमें करना है।
पहला तो चल रही है
तो हमारी रिक्वेस्ट यही है ना कि ये थोड़ा सजेशन आपकी तरफ से जाएगा ना, इंस्टीट्यूट की तरफ से जाएगा कि जो उसको बेनिफिट हो रहा है ओनस उसके ऊपर कास्ट करो कि आप इन्फॉर्म करो। आपके लिए बनाया ना कानून, आपको बेनिफिट होना है तो आप ड्यूटी आपके ऊपर कास्ट का, आप इन्फॉर्म करो। अगर वो नहीं करता फिर आपको तभी फायदा होगा।
तो सर एक चीज बताओ, चलो आपकी बात मान ली सर, एक चिट्ठी लिखने में या ईमेल लिखने में या एक सिंपल मेल लिखने में कि बता दो क्या फर्क पड़ रहा है, मैंने मेरा काम पूरा कर लिया, खत्म होगी कहानी। ठीक है, आप जो कह रहे हो वो बिल सर क्योंकि लॉ में नहीं लिख सकते ना, लॉ में तो फिर उसका मैकेनिज्म बताना पड़ेगा कि वो कैसे बताएगा। आप समझो, वो आप कहोगे जी वो आप मेरे हेड ऑफिस को बताओ, आप कहोगे नहीं जी मैंने तो इसके लिए एक स्पेशल डिपार्टमेंट बना दिया लुधियाना में, उसको जाके बताओ।
सर सिंपल है, बिल में मेंशन करना है, जैसे जीएसटी नंबर मेंशन करते हैं ऐसे उद्योग उधार मेंशन कर देगा, क्या दिक्कत है उसमें?
सर अगर मेंशन कर देगा तो बता ही दिया ना,
खत्म होगी बात, उससे ठीक हो गया।
नहीं आप अपनी मेल में लिख सकते हो ना कि अगर आप कर रहे हो तो
आपकी प्रैक्टिस में हो, सारे हिंदुस्तान पंबाबू सा बह गया था, ये पंजाबी च गई था।
अरे सर कुछ तो होना था ना, बड़े दिनों से किसी पॉइंट पे कोई डिस्कशन नहीं हो रही थी। अब आपकी ये जो इतनी नई टीम आई है इनको भी तो सेमिनार करना है ना सर। देखो दीपक जी को भी तो कोई टॉपिक दोगे सेमिनार करने के लिए?
नहीं सर, बिजनेस कम्युनिटी परेशान हो, सब लोग परेशान हो चुके हैं।
195 की क्वेरी है।
हाँ जी बताइए सर।
अगर सॉफ्टवेयर इंपोर्ट कर रहा है एक कंपनी तो उसके ऊपर सॉफ्टवेयर जो है वो डाउनलोड होता है ऑनलाइन, उसके ऊपर 195 की प्रोविजन लगेंगी कि नहीं लगेंगी?
सर इसमें क्या है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जजमेंट आ चुकी है, वेरी क्लियर जजमेंट। If it is an off-the-shelf software or if it is a software which is like a copyrighted article, then in that case, it is a standard software like Microsoft 365 or something like that. Then there is no need to deduct any tax under the domestic law, under the DTA law, because it is deemed to be a copyrighted article, not the copyright. Because so you can follow that Supreme Court judgment and you can take it. But however, if it is a customized software, you have to choose between A, B, C, and they customize it for you, then it is liable to be tax deducted.
Even if the services are rendered abroad, everything is done outside the country.
That doesn't matter. No? Section 9 says any services which have been used for a business in India. What is utilization? Not the place of providing services.
सर पहले जो होता था हम वो जो फॉरेन एजेंट्स कमीशन के अंदर वो यूज करते थे कि सर्विसेज रेंडर्ड अब्रॉड नॉट लायबल।
सर वो ऐसा नहीं है सर, जो फॉरेन कमीशन वाला था, फरीदा लेदर चेन्नई हाई कोर्ट की जजमेंट है सर, उसमें क्या होता था, पर्सन हु इज इंट्रोड्यूसिंग अ क्लाइंट आउटसाइड इंडिया is for the purpose of exports. Thus, services of a commission agent is neither classified as royalty nor classified as interest, dividend, and it is also not classified as a technical service. Because it is not classified as a technical service, then it goes to 911, which is business connection or a business profits. And because the client is sitting outside India, so then whatever services he is providing in India without a business connection or without a permanent establishment is not taxable. However, in case of your software, the software services is a technical service. तो जब 917 हम पढ़ते हैं तो वहां पे providing services within India is not a criteria. कहीं से भी बैठ के कोई भी सर्विस दोगे, बट अगर वो सर्विस इंडिया में यूटिलाइज हो रही है, that is subject to tax under 917 of the Act read with 115A.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, with the permission of the chair and with the permission of the convener, Shri Arun Gupta ji, now should we close the query session?
Yes, sir. I would request, I think, Kamboj sir.
First of all, I will like to thank Avinash Gupta ji for such an elaborate deliberation. और एक छोटा सा शेर मैं उनकी शान में कहना चाहूंगा, कई स्याह समंदर दफन है भीतर उसके, और सादगी देखो खुद को खुली किताब बतलाता है।
क्या बात है।
So now, before I request Vice President Sir Shri CA Mohit Gupta ji, I request our senior member Shri Amarjit Kamboj ji for concluding remarks. Please, Kamboj ji.
Thank you, Deepak ji. I will congratulate the new team for this wonderful session by Avinash ji. And I can only say that the real purpose of study circle is achieved today with the participation of majority of the members in the lively discussions and the most appropriate replies and the clarifications by Avinash ji. He gave during his deliberations is quite wonderful, and it is always a pleasure to hear and listen to Avinash ji, as in the past also. Regarding because the maximum time is taken by during the discussion of MSME payments and the disallowance, and this topic is so hot that our members are really worried, because every SSC is having the services of a chartered accountant, and the majority of the queries are cropping up from the only issue I can say, because the objective of the government is timely payment to support the MSME sector, which is given in the explanatory note also. So of course, for the implementation, it will certainly create a problem. The businessman will have to bring in the financial discipline, which will certainly take some time, or maybe someday the government may come out with they may postpone its application, so that will Avinash ji can better inform us if there is any such view or any such proposal is in the pipeline. So this topic is beautifully discussed, and I will also compliment to one of our senior member, Subhash Jain ji, who has come up with he has uploaded one of his one and the very first video addressing the members, clarifying this position. And I can say the members have listened to him on the YouTube, and they must give the like also, so that it is widely listened by the members for the benefit. And of course, the objective of this today's study circle stands very well achieved. Now coming to the issues of the which are very, very important, and not only I was apprehensive of that, and I'll share in one of our case, a heavy payment was made, and we were subjected to the scrutiny by the department to provide all the documents, and we on the basis of which we issued that 15 CB. And of course, the guidelines given by Avinash ji that we must take the engagement letter, we must take the confirmation, particularly of the DSC. I remember a case where in the last year, I refused to upload the ITRs of one of my very big client because of my reservations and my objections on the balance sheet. So I prepared the computation, but given to the party so that they could upload from their own system. So this guidelines by the Avinash ji is really to be taken care of by the members, because a government money is going outside India with the taxes deducted at source, or many times as advised by him and informed by him, brought to the knowledge of the members, even at a zero rate. So the members must be very, very careful, and that they take all these precautions so far as the transfer of property sale remittances are concerned. Certainly we can have the purchase, we can make a calculation and draw how much amount is. But here I will just take a guidance from Avinash ji. Why that the rather a precaution should be taken by the members, that they should avoid the one-timers, particularly in case of issue of such type of certificates. If they can avoid one-timers, or if they are to issue, then they should do it with extensive precautions and with the documentation. So I'll be next I will be filling in my concluding remarks if I don't acknowledge the blessings of our very, very senior member Rajinder Kapoor ji, who has given a very good suggestion during the deliberation by Avinash ji. And sir, kindly keep on blessing us every time whenever there is a study circle. We will certainly, and we are seeing you in a different attire now. You have grown up the beard also. हम तो आपको एक नए रूप में देख रहे हैं सर आज. So thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much. You are so good, so elaborate, and so extensive information sharing with the members of Ludhiana Bar District Bar Association. Thank you very much.
So I would like to add that we are very pleased to see Kapoor sir here. He has gone through something big, and I'm really very happy to see him on this platform here. Sir, I'm really pleased and happy to see you. You are a fighter, and you have shown that you are a fighter.
Thank you very much, and all my colleagues. Thanks a lot.
May I proceed, Arun ji? May I proceed? May I proceed, Arun?
Yeah, please. Yeah, Deepak ji, please proceed.
Thank you, sir. Kamboj sir. Thank you. Thank you very much for such a Gagar mein Sagar remarks, sir. Now I may request our Vice President, sir, CA Mohit Gupta ji, for proposing a vote of thanks. Mohit Gupta ji.
Thank you, Deepak ji. Thank you, Kamboj sir. The concluding remarks were said, But today, as a Vice President of the Bar, there is a protocol to officially thank our guest speaker, Avinash Gupta ji, and all the members present for this elaborated discussion on the topic. The topic has been very well deliberated by Avinash ji, illustratively and in a practical way. He is always ready for sharing his knowledge and understanding about the law on the DTBA platform without any hesitation. Interaction between our guest speaker and members have made this webinar a very successful one. We are very much thankful to Avinash ji for accepting our request and deliberating the topic. Team DTBA is also thankful to all the members for attending the meeting. More than 100 members were present in the webinar, including our respected senior members, past, present, members of ITCA, members of TBA, members of PTBA. Your active participation is always a source of encouragement for all of us. We assure you as a DTBA team, we will continue to provide this knowledge-sharing platform to all the members in future also. Thank you all. Thank you once again, and stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Avinash ji. Thank you for taking out your time. It's
Arjun
always
ji,
pleasant to hear you.
kindly